So we were talking about the government failing, and there's a couple different ways that we can segue that. I think that before we go straight into like angels from Venus trying to disarm us from nukes, I think we have to get into the missing 411 first,
Yes, God.
because I think Bigfoot might be a multi-dimensional entity, and the missing 411 ties directly into that, and that would kind of like prep our audience to be like, okay,
All right,
maybe
these
there's
guys are
something to this.
schizophrenic. I'm not going to listen to another word they
Right.
say, but I don't care because I am schizophrenic. Listen
I,
to me. I'm going to go shout this shit through a megaphone outside of City Hall.
You're listening to the Art and More podcast with your hosts, Nathan and BR. Nathan is a Canadian illustrator with a couple years of military experience, and BR is a British anarchist that moved to the States. Both are passionate shooters and community builders. Together, they run the Seaburn Art page. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Art and War podcast. I'm really bad at cold opens today, and BR has abandoned us, so it's just Jared and I. Welcome back to the show, Jared. It's been, God, about 2 years since you did the last episode with us. You're on episode fucking 17. Thank you for looking that up.
yes, like 17, 106, and like 130 or 131 or something.
Oh,
So
fuck me. You've been on 3 times.
yes, thank you for having me back for the fourth time.
Yeah. Well, I figured we just hung out all weekend, so that's probably
It's a good time to follow
it's,
up. Yeah,
it's topical. It's topical. Um,
100%.
you guys are you've missed all the conversation that's going to put us on possibly a Mossad hit list. Um, that's a joke. We didn't say anything bad. I love Nathan Tian too. Um,
You almost got his name right.
long live the great state of Israel.
Our greatest ally.
Our greatest ally. $5 billion more dollars. Let's make this Iron Dome a golden dome.
Honestly, 5 million is pretty low.
$5 trillion. Fuck it. Let's just add a couple
That's a
zeros.
good start. That's a good
Yeah,
start.
that's a good start. Let's really cut that Social Security just to do that. That's a joke. I don't have if. Oh God, BR, cut that one out. Cut that one out. It's going to get a guy into my house with like a Beretta 71 with a suppressor on it, waiting for me to come home.
They're gonna pull a Munich dude, dress up like a woman, and just show up and kill you with a titty pistol. True story. I don't know if you know that
Fucking what?
story.
Oh, okay, history lesson with Jared time. Go on.
Okay, so in the Munich is in the 80s, the Munich Olympic Games. Some people who don't like Israel for no reason at all attacked some of the athletes and other people, and Israel decided to take direct action against those people and their families. And some of the ways that they did that was to have Mossad agents dress up as women, wigs, fake tits, dresses, the whole thing, to sneak into these apartment complexes, and hidden in their different parts of their anatomy that was not actually theirs were weapons like hand grenades, pistols, and stuff like that. So they were able to sneak these weapons into other areas and assassinate these people and then sneak out as women. And the Mossad agents were, of course, never identified, but it was later publicly announced, like, yeah, all those people who did that terror attack in Munich, we killed them all. And one of the methods that they used was the female disguise, like something out of a James Bond movie.
Jesus Christ. My mind jumps back to like books on the OSS and different things that they did back in, World War II and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Just the crazy declassified stuff. And it makes you kind of wonder, that's the creativity of people back then to, annihilate their fellow men. What do they do now? And
Yeah, like some of the rubber masks and stuff that you see that are fully movable. They have different layers that can slide and stuff. So like they put it on their face.
yeah.
The inside of it is printed to fit their face, almost like that movie White Chicks.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen that? Not shitty because they don't obviously that was cheap special effects, but
Yeah. And
you would
it was
watch.
purposely kind of done to be uncanny.
Right, right. I love a good white face movie, but so they put on these masks and they look like someone completely different, and it's not, facial recognition will identify it, and yada yada. I can't imagine what they get away with nowadays.
Oh man, 100%. And that's just, Hollywood comedy movies on a budget. I see even now, in the last couple of weeks, kind of coincidentally, I've seen a couple of people arrested using those masks. One person was a cartel
Hmm.
leader who was disguised as his daughter, trying to escape a prison. And I mean, the mask was uncanny when you really looked at it. But also, I think about how often the average person pays attention to the people around them, which the answer to that is not at fucking all.
What do they say? You walk past like 20 murderers in your lifetime or something like that.
I'd believe that.
like on the street. So I wonder how many times you've walked past somebody in a rubber mask that was hiding their identity or something, and you didn't notice it.
Yeah, because people don't look. Like I can count a. I mean, obviously, I would never break the law, nor would anyone. But like, people never
No,
know
of
that
course
you're
not.
carrying a gun. Never.
No, no. I carry a full size, sometimes a Glock 34, but often just a full size Glock
Yeah,
and a full size magazine. And I'll just throw like this exact shirt actually. Sorry, my cat is assaulting me and just
you're
knocked
okay.
over my coffee. Ugh.
Everyone gets to miss this because we're not recording video.
Ah, very true. Anyway, I will conceal a full size pistol,
Yeah,
and nobody ever notices that. And you would
no one.
think, according to all the gurus, like, oh man, you're printing. Someone's gonna see your pistol and shoot you first or whatever. Nobody, no, literally nobody gives a fuck about any of that. The whole gray
No.
man thing doesn't exist. Like, wear a Hawaiian shirt, carry a full size gun, it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I'm
If
gonna
they're
get
not
off my
looking for it,
soapbox
they're
about
not
that.
going to see it.
Right,
And like sometimes, I'm a little gun autistic. I'll like be walking around Walmart and I'll be like, "Hey, that guy's got something," but
right,
that's the exception, not
right.
the norm. That is,
And it's usually because like they have a semi-athletic build. You can see the T-shirt is printing. Like the whole appendix carry thing. I'm gonna catch so much hate for this dude. I'm gonna catch. So this is the most controversial thing I'll ever say on a podcast.
yeah,
I hate appendix carry. It's
really,
uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I don't care what holster you have. I don't care who you are. It sucks objectively. You have a gun pointed at your cock and balls, and it's not like the other draw that you spend 99% of your time practicing if you wear a duty belt and whatever else. So I'm just like, man, I think I'm just gonna draw the same way from the same place and just wear a bigger shirt and not have my Johnson smashed by a muzzle the whole time that I'm existing. Especially if you're like sitting down or like when I drive, 18 hours to Pennsylvania or whatever. But where I'm going with that is if you have a decent build and you don't want to wear like a trash bag for a shirt, you are going to print when you appendix carry a full size pistol some kind of way. And even then, most people don't notice it unless they look for it. When I'm looking for it in the store, like you said, I see appendix carry way more than I think I see a side print. You
you
know?
know what? I'm going to respectfully disagree with this a little bit, and I'm sure again, you pay more attention than me, but I think part of that might, and again, might be wrong, be a bias because the amount of people who appendix carry is a lot more than people who carry 3 or 4 o'clock. Like
Oh yeah,
significantly, it
absolutely,
is the norm now. I want to say at
absolutely.
least among like young dudes, and
Oh, believe me, I know. Even among the cadre, I'm the only one that carries on my hip
yeah,
among everybody at OTG.
I got wide berth and hips and a little bit of I want to say the burger deposits in my lower back. So carrying it at 3 o'clock for me just makes me look kind of weird. 4 o'clock kind of works sometimes. The like if I'm in a suit, it'll catch the coattails and I'll flash the entire world, which has happened a couple times. But 3 o'clock just does not work for me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe I just have like invisible lat syndrome, and the shirt hangs off enough to the side.
Yeah, I mean,
You
in
know?
certain builds it would work. You're like tall and you are built up in your shoulders, so it like how your shirt hangs would naturally help with that a
Yes.
lot.
And
I
that's what I tell people. Like, I don't know, I'm not going to hate on someone for doing appendix carry. It has massive value.
Yeah,
For me personally, I hate it.
yeah, that's totally fair. I've got a couple friends who carry like 4 o'clock, which seems to work pretty well. Um, but I've been appendix carrying for a minute. Obviously, nowhere that I would ever not be allowed to do that.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. I would always recommend that everyone here follow the law because it was made for your
exactly.
own good.
It keeps us safe.
That's right. That's right. If everyone just followed the law, there'd be no murders. So
Exactly.
you guys should do that.
You should be an example for everyone else. But yeah, we just wrapped a 3 day night vision CQB course, and that was
We
fun.
did.
I'm really
We did.
surprised you didn't just tell us to drop a JDAM on
Yeah, shameless plug right there.
it.
I don't know when this episode will come out, but if you're
Probably Sunday, like
okay, cool.
yeah, like 4 days from now.
Well, the shirt will drop on the 22nd. So, um, guys, if you're listening, go on orionconcepts.co. We have a very funny shirt.
RyanConcepts.co.uk.
Yeah, please do not do that. um, it is a picture of Big Bird, like the Sesame Street character, And remind me, we should put a pin in doing some Elmo shirts right now because he's very popular. But
Uh,
it's
get you killed by Mossad again. Uh,
it's right. But it's got him drawing on the board, and we did a shirt like 4 years ago that said D is for dynamics, like D's the letter of the day.
yeah,
And we have so many of you wonderful people that are listening to this that think that CQB is made up or fake and gay or whatever. And folks will say, "Oh, you would never do that. Drop a JDAM on it."
yeah.
And
Burn the building down. Like
yeah,
throw a grenade into the room that a child might be in.
that's right. Yeah, like in my job and when I'm clearing buildings on duty, I can't tell you how many times that a JDAM would have been easier, but it's not an option when you're dealing with regular people,
Yeah,
or priority of life matters.
yeah.
So to honor those guys and show them that maybe they are correct and they have all the answers, we have a new shirt where dynamic is scratched out and it says just D is for drop a JDAM on it. And that's available in tank tops and t-shirts, and we'll probably have some stickers. It just depends. But the
I like
cheeky
the idea
internet
of
humor,
stickers. I
man.
have too many T-shirts at this point. Like I've just started wearing button-ups basically every day.
I don't even wear my own t-shirts, man, but not
Yeah,
because I don't like them or they're bad quality, but like I said, I wear button up, I wear Hawaiian shirts, I wear Carhartts and
yeah,
Ariat and stuff like that. I don't really wear t-shirts that much anymore,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Otherwise, cool. KUHL, plug for this company that's never heard of me ever and is massive. I wore that shirt in that sweaty little kill house for all two of the 3 days, and that thing saved my fucking life. The first day I just wore a
Yeah.
flannel, and that thing was awful. Um,
Yeah. Do you know the history of cool and how it became cool,
no, actually,
pun intended? Super long story short, they had the contract to make a bunch of like plain clothes, like regular plaid shirts and blue jeans and shit, and for those to be sold at PXs on military bases. They won that contract, and so when you have all the cool guys, the Delta dudes and whatever,
yeah,
that would come through somewhere and need to buy like regular clothing and shit, they would always go buy the cool pants and the cool shirt, like KUHL.
yeah.
And back then, they were like $18 for a pair of jeans at the
Holy
PX
shit,
in
yeah.
like the early to mid 2000s. And as soon as how you just were telling me before, how it is on Reddit. Reddit gets a hold of the idea that, well, Delta wears this brand. Well, what brand is it? Oh, it's cool. Oh, it's only sold on military bases, and it just blew the brand up.
Really, I
Um,
did not
mhm.
know that it was a hypebeast thing. Like I learned about it
Yeah,
through some outdoorsy friends.
it's like hype beast by proxy. Like
Yeah,
it existed and was bought by people, but it was kind of like a working man's, like just like you said, people wore it for hiking, people wore it
yeah,
for like outdoor use, but
yeah.
it was not $200 for a pair of jeans like it is now.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
And
No, like cool
once they
guy.
realized, like, oh, Delta wears it, oh,
Yeah,
and the
kind of like
Glazers got a
what
hold of it.
happened to the Banana Republic like fishing vests.
Yeah.
Which, in fairness, you can still get those online for like $20, but they probably have some blood on them. Mine did.
The Rothko clone of it is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Rothko makes some good stuff.
yeah, you can get that at like Sportsman's Warehouse or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, and it's the exact same thing, but it's not Banana Republic, so it's not clone correct, dude.
yeah, I'm a big eBay shopper in terms of what I want or need, and I feel like a lot of people like the idea of someone else's ball sweat being on a pair of pants may turn them off to it, understandably,
Unless it's a Navy SEAL,
unless
in
it's a
which
Navy SEAL, in which
case,
case it'll
right, we're all taking a big whiff, bro.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's worth the money right there, dude.
Just get a pair of Tim Kennedy's old jock straps or whatever.
We should have made a bet on how fast his name would come up.
Oh my god, I see him everywhere. I'm seeing him in normie internet spaces. And I'm like barely logging on. I don't think I've logged in like 2 months. Um,
That's wild, dude. I
yeah.
wish I could do that, but I'm
I
like,
also wish it's good. It's good for you. I think like, and we talked about this a little bit at the thing. It's like it's harder when you're happy. I think. Like, does that
mm-hmm,
make sense?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think also we ascribe a lot of we live in an era where there's no physical results for our work.
Yeah.
Like I'm not making something with my hands. When you make something with your hands and you're finished with it, there's a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
When you're marketing yourself or your company and you're trying to make ends meet using an online interface like this, there's never a sense of it's finished.
Yeah.
So even if you log out, there's always that tug in the back of your head, like, I need to get on there, I need to make a sale, I need to
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And so yeah, just turning it off for like 3 days would probably fix me.
Oh man, no, it doesn't. I've been off for months and it hasn't fixed me. But it is better. It is better. It is progress in the right direction. I do need to get back on
Right.
there sometime. My manager Evan kind of consistently tugs at me like, "Hey, make a guide, do something." Like, "Hey, what happened?" And I appreciate him a lot for that, but I'm just not ready yet. I don't think.
I think you have a breaching guide from like 9 months ago.
Yes. I you
I had forgotten about it until you just said that.
Yes, no, I've got like this pile of guides that, but like every time I put pen to paper, it's like, do I work on the things that are going to pay my bills right now? Because I really don't want
Hmm.
to do that either, or do I make content for the page? And I've just been in this like state of entropy. I am finally like doing a little more, but it mostly trickles onto the Patreon, the Discord mostly
Hmm.
first.
There's a uh,
Yeah,
there's a book you should read. It's called oh damn, right when I say you should read the book, I can't remember the title. It's by Mary Oliver. It's a collected work of her essays.
yeah,
A good friend of mine gave me. It's not poetry per se, although she is a poet. And one of the essays is about the creative spirit. And when you have creative people, how easy it is for us to burn out.
yes,
And then also when we do listen to the creative voice, we're manic. You're up till 2 a.m. drawing. For me, it's drawing. Like last night, I didn't go to bed till like 1:30, and I had to get up at 5,
jeez, yeah.
5:30. But
Were you
I was
the ADHD
possessed by that.
hyperfixation on what you're
Yeah,
creating? I love that.
yeah.
Like it's a blessing and a curse, mostly a blessing in my opinion.
Well, the two things that I wanted to do with my life before I got interested in law enforcement and the martial stuff was
Yeah,
I wanted to either be a charcoal or a graphic novel artist,
yeah,
like doing charcoal portraits or drawing comic books, or I wanted to be a chef.
yeah,
And if you've followed my personal Instagram for a while, I mean,
yeah.
all I do is draw and cook if I'm
Yeah,
not
I
doing
was
the.
going to say you sent me a pork recipe like 2 hours ago, which I'm going to steal. Thank you very much.
That's true. So all that to say, like, I think there's really some truth to like prioritizing your creative spirit and doing the thing that makes you happy in those moments is good.
Yeah.
But trying to force yourself to be creative as a job feels more like work than like anything else I've ever done.
I 100% agree. This is not my first creative job, and I burn out on literally all of them. This is the one that's lasted the longest, and I think part of that reason is I can pick and choose things. Kind of, they all align with enough autistic other interests that I can kind of force myself to keep going with it. If it was like, which on the side I'll do like logo and packaging design and things like that, and like DXF files so someone can cut a box that they sell like gun adjacent product in and whatnot. Those jobs fucking kill me. I continue to take them because
Mm,
they pay my bills, but like I don't want to say they're
right,
creatively bankrupt, but they're essentially the same as like a tracing. They're like,
right,
yeah, I just
right.
I can't do it. As an aside, I brought this up in a previous episode with you, but because I've been asked, I think a couple times more since that episode has happened, I do not do your art for you for your shirts. You do your art for you. Like our styles are adjacent enough. Like for my black and white stuff that I do for like operational industries and other people, our
Hmm.
styles are like similar enough that people confuse them. But you are a very talented artist. You actually make a lot of the stuff you sell.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The only stuff that I have not drawn has been the Sesame Street ones, and actually, the guy who runs Orion Concepts, which nobody believes this either, who's not me, um, also pretty talented. Although he only does digital, and he did those.
That's awesome.
Um,
Well, if he doesn't
so
do the Elmo one, I'll do that for you. I think that's fun. My immediate thought was just like Elmo is standing in the you know the original the uh the cover for Doom 1, like the original 1993 Doom of just like the
mm,
guy standing and like there's a bunch of
like
demons. Yeah, he's got like one
the
hand
Holy
up.
Father, yeah,
Yeah. That
so epic.
with Elmo standing atop just a whole bunch of IDF. That's a joke.
Body.
That's a joke. Please don't kill me.
That's you know what? I'm not going to comment on that because I am pro Israel, sir. I respect and cherish our greatest ally, and I would never side with someone as nefarious as Elmo.
You know,
On,
one
on
1 trillion more dollars just for that. Just for that comment.
do it. That's right. Oh, it's funny. And I had something I was going to follow up on with that, and then you said standing atop a pile of. It completely derailed the way my brain was going. I was going to make a connection to one of these other topics, and I can't do it anymore.
It's okay. It's good timing for you to think about it because I just drank this entire Americano, 32 ounces of it, so I have to take a leak.
Okay, perfect.
No worries. Be right back, guys.
Hey guys, it's BR with a quick public service announcement. If you're enjoying the Art and War podcast, help us spread our message of liberty, preparedness, and community building by following us and giving a 5-star rating on Spotify or on your platform of choice. Your support makes a massive difference in the show reaching more listeners. Don't forget to check out our Patreon and sponsor links in the description. Your support keeps the conversation alive and thriving. We massively appreciate you guys, we have done amazing things with you and hope to continue to do so. Thank you very much, now let's get back to the show.
Okay, I'm back from the little boys' room. Yeah, I'm just going to shove us back onto the topic with no grace at all. Yeah, so we just wrapped a 3-day night vision CQB class, and basically everyone there was a cool guy of some kind. Like,
Yeah, that was
it,
the first class that's ever happened.
yeah, everyone was military, former military, cop, SWAT, like 3 Homeland Security HRT guys. Like, it was very, very interesting to see the dynamic of people who all had a basis of understanding in this. Something that you do that I'm going to plug you a little bit because God, you won't plug yourself. Um, like I think that this would not necessarily silence a lot of voices on the internet, but it just outright proves them wrong. You started bringing in a ranger to these classes who knows his shit, and one of my favorite things about your dynamic is like you'll talk about law enforcement, and obviously you'll be like, here's how law enforcement does it, here's how COG does it, here's how whatever. But then you have a ranger's perspective as well, talking about what he did in battalion, and both of you have such a good dynamic. I feel like I learn a lot.
I appreciate that. I've said it often, but because I am kind of the face of the company, like we were talking about earlier, about just always needing to be on there and selling and whatever, people see me and they see my resume, which is not that impressive, and they go, "Oh, well, that guy can't know all that." And what they forget is that OTG is this conglomerate of experts. And our newest hire, W, which I'm not, he's still doing other stuff, so I'm not going to put all his info out there.
Yeah, no, he's doing
Um,
real cool guys. Not that you don't do real cool guy stuff. He's also doing real cool guy stuff right
no, I would agree. He is doing the real cool guy stuff.
now. Yeah.
And all that to say, I mean, he's 5 combat deployments, and all this other stuff that he's got. He's like 25 years old. He got out,
Is he fucking
medically from the
25?
army. He's 25 or 26. Yeah, I
I
think he
thought he
may.
was in his like he doesn't look it, but I thought he was in his mid 30s. Just how much experience he has and like how he carries
Yeah,
himself.
well, he's like me. He's a homeschool survivor. He joined at 17 and a half or whatever it was. The
That makes
earliest you can
sense.
join with your parents, sign the waiver.
Yeah.
He did 1 year in airborne while working up to all of it, and then as soon as he got once he made it into battalion, I mean, he's deploying. He's coming back and forth and doing basically just as soon as you could go back out, he went back out.
Yeah.
And he's really got, like you said, our dynamic goes well together
Yeah.
because he has a humility about the way that he teaches,
He
where he
does.
can say, "Hey, this is what we did in battalion, and here's why." But I'm not a cop and I don't know what that is. So let's share. And that's been true of the company the whole time.
Yeah.
So when you come to an OTG class, I may tell you, hey, we had a CAG guy come audit our class and
Hmm.
he told us this, this, and this, right? Like, I'm not saying this is what CAG does because I read it on a Reddit forum. I've been told this in person.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what's current for me.
Yeah.
And the unit that I'm coming from. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. I'll sprinkle that in.
Yeah. And we
What people
just
forget.
kind of experienced that too. We had a bunch of different cool guys from a bunch of different areas show up, and I really like those guys. But they're like, yeah, this is current. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm teaching. It's
Hmm.
just refined in X way or Y way. And
Right.
while you're running people through the kill house, I kind of attached myself to the team of HRT guys, and I could hear them talking about like the SOPs are like this. This is why we do it, and like this is what we're going to go take back to our unit, but
Hmm.
everything was within like half of a standard deviation of each other,
Yes,
just
and that's
refined.
that's kind of where I'm going with, like, when I met Blake and when I met Dylan, and obviously being raised by Jason within this space, or Will, or any of the other guys that we have that are SMEs on this stuff. like you said, everything is like one or two parts is different. Like Will really likes center checking, and he's running with the guys he's running with, which I won't name, um, just because that's for him to do. But they are in the business of rescuing people all the time. They do a ton of center checking,
Yeah.
and they cross train very closely with the unit and whoever else. And so it's like, hey, this is what we're all doing. And then you go look at what Blake is doing, and Blake coming from the um, Force Recon and then the MARSOC schoolhouse and all that stuff. They're big on either fully on dynamic or fully deliberate.
Yeah.
And that's where the background Jason and I come from. It's balls to the wall dynamic, or it's deliberate nods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like you said, everything is, if you understand the principles that drive everything, you can kind of plug and play.
Mm.
And that bothers people that have only ever done it one way and think that that one way is superior in all situations.
I've noticed that a lot, especially guys who are like one component of military and it's all that they're taught, and all of, and
Yep.
God, like I've, you know, I instruct more as a hobby. I'm no M class shooter. This comes up a fair amount. Like I can shoot a pistol halfway worth of fuck, enough to occasionally get a little bit of money to teach people, or usually I'll just do it for free. As long as my gas and ammo's comped.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoy it. But the hardest people to teach are people who have one discipline and they think that they're. I have a friend who he trained with NTOG and CSOR and all of that. The cool guys from up north, and he's like, no, like this is how we shoot pistol. This is how, and he was so rigid in his teaching that until a shot timer came out and he was humbled by everyone else who was actually following instructions, he was like, okay, no, like you're wrong, and this is what you do. Like there's a
Hmm.
lot of ways to skin a cat, and I think the important thing is like everyone is on the same SOPs, as opposed to like, hey,
Yes.
this is the way to do it 100% of the time. My mind jumps to someone that we won't name, just like running through a kill house like a GM. um
Yeah.
yeah.
That's just ego and posturing and just the same bullshit we see with that crowd.
Yeah.
That's there's no training value in that. That's just being a grumpy old man. But on your comment about this is how we do it, this is the way we train or whatever, there's only one way to shoot a pistol.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a quote from Musashi in the Book of Five Rings. He talks about the way of the warrior being in everything.
Yeah.
Like if you truly understand what it is you're doing, and of course the context for him was talking about swinging a sword,
Yeah.
then you'll see the way in the stroke of a pen or in making pottery or in
Yeah.
calligraphy. Like there's a way to conceptualize stuff that crosses boundaries into other disciplines. And
Yes.
if you're only one thing and you only understand that one thing and you never try to apply yourself with excellence in anything else, you will be very limited in scope,
Yeah.
both in your understanding and your capability to teach.
Yes. Very much so. Have you ever read sorry to interrupt, I know you're not
No, of
too
course.
much of a weeb, but Vagabond?
Mm-mm.
It's sort of a
I've
drawn.
never actually read any manga of any kind.
Oh, well,
I've only ever watched anime.
I think you may actually like it. It's kind of like a drawn biopic of Miyamoto Musashi's life, and it's very good.
Mm,
Like it's quite
okay.
historically accurate in a lot of
I'm gonna
ways.
type that in the chat so I don't forget. You said vagabond?
Vagabond. And
Okay.
obviously it's quite dramatized, but it's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like I said. I would have loved to have been a comic book artist as a kid,
Yeah.
and took a lot of inspiration from how anime and manga was drawn. I had an instructional booklet on how to draw in different Japanese styles as a kid, so I've always liked it.
Yeah.
I just never taken the time to really consume that,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it would be good, right up my alley. I read the Book of Five Rings a couple times a year, and just go back through it, and I've given away so many copies of that book.
Yeah. That's actually really interesting. I've not read that, but I'd really like to. You've recommended some good books in the past to me before, so I'm going to check that out. Anyways,
Easy
yes,
peasy,
back to
man.
the course we just did. Night vision is holy shit. It is horrifying when employed correctly. So you had me do op 4 a couple times
Mm-hmm.
near the end of the course there, and there were times where I'd just be standing there and suddenly like can't hear anything. It's a quiet room. All that's really going is the fan. Suddenly there's a man with a gun in my face. Just
Yep.
like there, all I can see is a light and a muzzle, and that's it.
Yeah, that was the quietest class I've ever taught.
Yeah.
I think the caliber of the individuals allowed us to excel in a lot of things. Usually we have the guy whose knees don't bend or he's got the shoes that squeak or the dude who won't take the janitor keychain off, you know. Like there's always somebody who's just noisy.
Yeah.
And these guys were not those people, in addition to being able to move pretty well. Um, I think that the big challenge for teaching night vision is you can't really, like, you can't expect people to be as efficient with their movement. You can't expect people to be as good
Yeah.
at reading off each other in that moment because they can't speak and they also are limited in field of vision. But if we can just be quiet and just get efficient on our movement, some really cool stuff can happen. And we were lucky to see that with this class for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's something that I had a lot of fun with. Hell, I'm going back tomorrow just to do dry runs of that place. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, man. The fact that we have a kill house that you can just fucking rent here, PSOC in Spokane, Washington. I
Yes.
really recommend that anyone who's listening to this who's kind of in the general area check out Rep Night. It's bi-monthly. It's a Friday. I don't know where on social media you can find out when those dates are. But it's always a Friday and it's always an evening. It's twice a month, and you can just go there and practice and like talk to some people there who have taken courses or they are working in this professionally, and they'll just go there to keep themselves proficient. And you can just show up. I think it's like $25 or something. It's not bad.
I think it's 25 a night. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just to
Um,
help keep the lights on.
right. I mean, that's cheap. You get 10 or 15 people there, and that's just helping him pay the bill.
Yeah,
Um, it's funny. Every time I try and find his Instagram page, it's so shadow banned, like beyond belief. I can't even search it.
yeah. That is. I think it's like three aces PSOC.
Three Aces PSOC. I like to call it PSOC
P sock.
because
What's that
it makes me
sticker they
think of
have?
like
Just like a sock dripping yellow.
it's a sock with yellow tip. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
PSOC
no,
is epic.
I really like Aaron. He's actually about it. Like he will learn as much as he can. He
Mm-hmm.
kind of like
And
shadow sits in a lot of these courses, and he's just a good dude.
he hosts a lot of other people too, like Hunter Freeland, who's
Yeah,
a world class shooter. He comes up here and teaches, and some other folks. I'll be trying my best to get some other good instructors up here,
yeah,
like Duffy from Kinetic Consulting, and Brian from Slide Tack, and some other people. If I can get them to come up here and offer some more classes in the area, it seems to be a really hungry area for training.
yes, I think so. Like it's you do you mean where you are right now or up here?
Know where you are. I mean,
Oh
like
yeah,
when we list a class, and this is partly in credit to you from helping market us, and then um, obviously Aaron has a great network.
yeah,
But when we list a class in the Spokane or Coeur d'Alene area, or just anywhere along Idaho, it fills within like 48 hours.
yeah.
And for anyone listening to this, I don't live anywhere near there. I live in Louisiana.
Yeah, I was going to say you live almost as far as you can reasonably get while being on the same country.
Correct. Yeah, it's quite a lot of travel for me.
Yeah,
And because of that, the classes are more expensive because you have to offset a plane ticket and stuff.
yeah,
Um, but my best friend lives up there, so I can stay with him. They drive me around, so
yeah.
it
He
cuts
goes to the
costs for
courses,
them.
which I love, because like
Yeah,
he,
yeah, that was a cool one
yeah.
for him to see.
Can I dox him a little bit? Just his name. Just call him Jay.
Just call him Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that guy because he's just like a regular dude, and he is randomly and suddenly incredibly good at this very particular discipline just because he goes to all the classes just to hang out with you. And I love that.
Well, the other thing about that is like he's been so good at so many things. He just picks stuff up and is good at it.
Yeah,
And like I said, I don't remember meeting him. Our moms were best friends growing up, like at like late high school, early college, I think is where they met. And all that to say, like I think I told this story in the class. I had worked my ass off over like 3 years to get it to where I could bench press 315. No, it was 310. I was almost 315. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna single press 310 on bench press one time.
yeah.
I get under the bar and I struggle with it, but I get it. And Jay is like, man, I'm gonna try that. And I'm like, dude, you haven't worked out in 2 months. There's no way. He sits down and reps it twice, and he's about to go for a third. I'm like, all right, that's enough. Like just
I
and
love that guy.
he's just this big Viking dude.
Yeah,
We played paintball and we played these scenario games, and it's not unlike how I am now. I'm always trying to organize something and put a team together, and he would just absolutely crush it.
yeah.
It's just
He's just a
dead
smart guy.
accurate. Yeah, he whatever it is, he applies himself. And the Portal game, I don't know if you ever played that.
Yeah, of course. Jesus.
I'm I'm terrible at it. And I couldn't get out of the tutorial, and it had been like an hour and a half in high school when it first came out, and he beat the whole game in like 90 minutes.
Jesus. Yeah,
And
it's
because
like
he's intuitive, he's
that.
just like, oh, goes there, goes there, goes there, poof, and he's through the level. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, that three-dimensional, like being able to unfold shapes and
Mm-hmm.
solve problems with
Mm-hmm.
that's I really like that guy. You can talk about more or less anything. We just sat there during the dinner and talked about Mass Effect for like an hour.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were there. Like, I didn't see you walk past the divider wall,
That's
and
okay.
somebody was like,
I was busy talking about Mass Effect.
yeah, well, somebody was like, is Nathan coming to eat? I'm like, nah, he had a long drive back to his house, you know.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
then
I decided to
you
drop
got
in,
up to
say hi
leave,
to
and
the
I was
guys, and get a churro.
like, what the fuck?
It's
But
okay.
yeah, no, Mass Effect is phenomenal. I finally got my wife to play it 2 years ago.
I want to know how that went.
Well, she is she feels things deeply, and
Yes.
she's got a lot of empathy for these characters. And like we've been playing through Baldur's Gate right now, it's the same thing. Like
Yeah.
people on Reddit will call her save scum because
Yeah.
she'll save it, and if something really bad happens with the character, she'll reload it and try to figure out how to save them.
No, I do the same thing. I'm
So,
doing the same thing in fucking Death Stranding, and that doesn't even have a branching path.
God, yeah,
Excellent game. Sorry, can you?
one game, but again, not the baby. But anyway,
Yeah.
uh, all that to say, like the one we have to choose between Tally or Legion,
Yeah.
she's just like sobbing. She has to put one of them down.
Yup. Isn't there a way to save both of them? I thought you could.
There is, you have to make choices in game 1 and 2
Yeah.
in order for that to happen. And I did not tell her anything. I didn't give her any hints
Yeah.
about like what was coming. So it just gets to the scene and she just blows one of their brains out, and it's like, what just happened? I
Yeah.
think it's where you shoot Legion. He's like kneeling in the sunset, and he's like, "Does this one have a soul?" And then you blow his brains out as he was,
No.
just like chin quivering.
Yeah. God, that would actually crush me, man. I loved those games, and I
It's
think
so good.
save scumming it and just being a dick, and like I really didn't want anyone to die, so I tried to play it the way that
Hmm.
I would. So it ended up being like a more or less Paragon run with some reporters punched in the meantime. But Jay
Hmm.
told me about his wife playing it with no. And I'm going to tell this on his behalf because this had me in fucking bits. For all like how many people here have played Mass Effect? Probably not a lot. A lot of our listeners are a little younger. If you're listening to this, probably play Mass Effect. It's actually fucking good.
There's a bundle for it. You can get all 3 games for like $40 right now.
Hell yeah. No, it's good. It's good as shit. Like I want them to remaster it, but probably end up retarded. Their new games are awful. But so his wife, he's like, hey, you haven't played Mass Effect? Like, oh fuck, we need to sit down and just fucking do this. And so she sits down and she's similar to your wife in that she's very empathetic and like really gets into the
Hmm.
characters, but she's also, I don't want to call her a more casual gamer, but she's just having fun with it. It's like, hey, red option, like cool, let's kick this guy off a building. Like, fuck it, like who cares? Let's just do this. And she didn't realize, and the whole time Jay is telling her, it's like, hey, these actions are going to have consequences. Like everything will matter eventually. So she keeps playing and she keeps playing and she gets to the suicide mission. And this game has been out for like fucking 15 years at this point, so I don't really care
Oh,
about
easily, yeah.
spoiling too much. If you don't want to have Mass Effect 2 spoilers, fast forward like a minute, I guess. So she gets to the suicide mission in the end of Mass Effect 2, and she just like, okay, fuck it, like let's assign characters, let's just have fun, because like to her this is still just a game. Like nothing has really come around to consequences yet, because the consequences really make themselves apparent in like 2 to the end of 3,
Hmm.
and her whole crew fucking dies. Like not everyone, but like at the very end she's there with like less than half of her crew being like, what the like bawling, sobbing her eyes out.
Uh-huh.
And
I
Jay's
did
just
the
like, I
same thing the
told
first time
you.
I played it.
Yup.
Yep. That's whenever he was playing when we were kids,
Yeah.
and he taking his time and analyzing stuff, and I'm like, fuck it, kill him. Press the red button.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me.
Yeah. No, I believe that. And like to its credit, there's not a lot of games like that. There's like the Quantic Dream ones, the ones that are like Heavy Rain and Detroit
Hmm.
Become Human and all of that. And it's more or less it. I guess Until Dawn and a few of those like horror games
Baldur's
where
Gate
no
is
one's
very much like that.
really.
Like
I need to try
every
that.
single thing you do, bro.
Yeah.
Everything you do matters. And so I've watched my wife play 4 characters through,
Yeah.
all different methods, different races, different classes. Not one ending has been the same.
Interesting. I heard there's like 30 or 40 endings to that game.
Yes, she actually got an ending that broke the game. I don't think they thought anyone would ever get to it, and there was no audio recorded for it.
Really? Like
Or
what?
it says like narrator in parentheses, and there was like no audio. Basically, she became like the spawn of like the god of death, and just
Huh.
killed everyone. And the final scene is her like characters like floating over a world covered in blood under like a red moon,
I
and
didn't
like
even
that's
know
like,
that that was an option.
no, she just did all the evil things, and that ended up being what happened.
Holy
Um,
shit.
it was like narrator, and there was no audio because I think they were like, oh, we'll get to that eventually. No one's ever gonna play that
No one's
ending.
going to be this evil, just like
Yeah,
intrinsically.
and like burn the orphanage type stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Except for Jared's wife, apparently. Just, you know.
well, you know what they say. All the hot girls have tummy issues and commit war crimes on The Sims 4. So it has like redact her name.
Yes,
My wife
VR, please take that out. E.
E. My wife has a tendency to commit evil acts in video games because she's such a good person in real life. She has to let that out virtually, where it can stay behind the screen. You
That
know.
is really fucking funny. Like burn the orphanage down and consume the world in a sea of blood kind of
Hmm.
stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like if she hasn't had Taco Bell, she's like burn it all down.
yes.
You know what I mean?
100%. That's my significant other is in the process of playing Tears of the Kingdom right now, and you can't really do that.
Mm.
Side note,
I don't know what the side note is going to be. Just giggle. It made me giggle. It's like, yeah, you can't commit war crimes in Tears of the Kingdom. Side
I
note.
mean, if you try hard enough. Um, Speaking of war crimes and bad policing, Ready or Not just came out for consoles. We're gonna have to play that at some point.
Yes. I have a group chat for all the people that play Insurgency, all my homies that have that game, and they're all talking about Ready or Not right now. So
Yeah,
I've got a feeling I'm going to get forced to play it. I have played it on PC many moons ago, but I'm going to get forced to play it on console.
yeah, it's going to be fun. You'll have to let me know when you play because I am very much down. Um, uh, Side note for the Discord fellas and all of the people listening to this, I will also play with some of you if the timing lines up. Um, I'm curious how
Al,
he does.
Al,
The co-host here who watches all of your videos and just like we've played the CQB sim in VR before, and he just has everything down. We hop into it, and he'll
Hmm.
pan a door, he'll do the muzzle wag, he'll open the gate, he'll do all of the things. And a piece of content that I really like to do with him when he visits this summer is just like how much of this stuff can you realistically learn on your own? Because it's not all of it, but it's going to be a lot. And he trains in Ace VR every day despite never having touched a handgun in his life. He does the VR kill houses, and he practices as much as he can without having access to firearms or training or facilities or any of that. I want to see how that translates. Like someone who is just
Wonderful.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Okay. So I can speak to that just a little bit.
yeah.
I shoot, and I know USPSA is something we can talk about, so this
Yes,
is a
yes,
good
yes.
segue.
I wanted to get into
I
this a
shoot,
little.
yeah, I shoot once or twice a month,
Yeah.
and a buddy of mine that I've become friends with
When you say you
through
shoot once or twice a month, you mean USPSA or in general?
I shoot matches. I
Yes.
shoot matches once or twice a month. The only other time that I shoot live ammo is if I'm teaching on demos, whether that's at my department or a class. Other than that, it's 90% dry fire.
Yeah.
But this guy is an immigrant to the country. He is a um, theoretical physicist. He's got a PhD in that.
Yeah.
And the country he comes from, you cannot shoot real guns. So he was a champion at airsoft competitions, but it's like shooting BBs for accuracy. It's like just like a shooting competition, but it's airsoft guns. And that's an oversimplification, but for the people listening, you get it. He'd never shot a real gun. He'd never shot anything with real recoil. He came here, and in like, I don't know, less than a year,
Yeah.
he's a GM.
Holy
I mean,
shit.
he's absolutely crushing it. He went to nationals and did really well. I mean, he's an absolute stud. And he was like, yeah, I mean, once you figure out how to make the sights return back to the same place, like how to grip it hard enough, it's literally just point the thing at what you want to shoot and pull the trigger without disturbing the sights. Like shooting's not hard.
Yeah.
And I think that, the equivalent of that, because again, there's no recoil in ACVR, if you can point the gun at the thing and pull the trigger without disturbing the sights,
Yes.
once you put a real gun in this dude's hand, once he can figure out how to grip it so that the sights return to the same place, now he's got all of the fundamentals because
Yes.
that's it.
I completely think my mind jumps to that video that of all people Lucas did this years ago. Mr. Botkin himself, where he
Hmm.
flew a Asian airsofter out, Liku
Hmm.
Tactical, who
Yep.
like that guy's about it. He's fast as shit. And
This is a very similar concept. It's a
yes.
very similar type of deal with this guy.
Yeah, just practiced
Um,
with airsoft, and he as soon as you put a real gun in
yeah,
his hands and he figured it out, it just translated. And with Liku, it took about a day. I want to say 4
right,
hours. Um,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, once you figure out what that recoil is doing and the concept of dot confirmation, dot return,
yeah,
it's pretty interesting. And to that point, like we have on our list of things to talk about, the shooting fundamentals and USPSA and all that. Everyone hypes up competition shooting on the internet like it is some god tier, just insane, impossible task, and
yeah,
it's this wild thing and all that. The first competition I went to, I was shooting my Staccato XC because it's just what I had, and I didn't understand divisions. I didn't understand how the classification system. I'm like, all that's fake and gay. I just want to shoot my gun.
yeah,
And I didn't understand that your scores are based on the percent of the highest performer if you're looking at your division within your division. And I couldn't wrap my head around how people were missing by a factor of 2 times more than I was, but they were outscoring me. And I was shooting like 10 seconds slower than them. I'm shooting minor power factor. They're shooting major power factor because most people in open division are shooting like a hand cannon,
yeah. Like 30,
that has
38
a
super or whatever.
38 super. It's got a scope on it that's not reciprocating with the slide.
Yeah,
It's a space gun. It's like Han Solo's blaster.
yeah,
And I just didn't understand that. So after a couple matches of that, a guy who's kind of been mentoring me in the sport, just a really good dude. He's a local master class shooter. He's a firearms director for a huge department down here. He's a really cool dude, and he was like, "Hey, bro, you're in the wrong division. Like you're comparing apples and oranges. You just
yeah,
need to shoot your duty Glock in carry optics." So I shot two, small matches with that, and then I went to an all classifier match, and I classed high B class with it. And everybody was like, "Wow, you've been shooting for a while." One guy was like, "Oh, you must have been shooting for a couple of years." I'm like, "This is my third time ever shooting the Glock at a competition."
yeah,
And it made me realize that we had this. I saw another page talking about like competitive elitism within the industry, where it's like,
yes.
"Oh, well, if you're not a GM, you shouldn't teach or this and that."
I've seen a
I
lot of
would much.
that, and that
It's
kind of drives
crazy.
me
I
wild.
would.
Yeah,
I would much rather a GM teach than me, but that's also why I employ one to teach. I
yeah,
employ two actually.
yeah. Rob's fantastic. I really like that guy.
Yeah, Rob and Will are both absolute studs.
Yeah,
Will is an M or a GM in every class, and he basically only shoots from appendix carry when he's classifying,
yeah. I bet
just to
you love
stunt on
that.
people. Yeah, yeah. Till he blows one of his testicles off. Knock on wood. Just kidding. He doesn't shoot a Sig P320.
Yeah,
Um, not an issue. But I wish they would pay me $250,000 to say the opposite.
yeah. No, same.
Um,
Uh, I love the P320 Sig. God, I'll take your checks. We'll redact everything. God, buy me a house.
but all that to say, I've been like really steadily like slowly but surely over the last 8 or 9 months of competing, my match placement is going up. I've been in the top, 10 or the top 5 or whatever a couple times now, and I've only shot 12 or 13 matches total
Yeah,
since August of 2024, which was my first one, and it made me realize the difference between like me and a GM is light years. Like those dudes are so fast
they're ridiculous.
and so
It's
accurate.
second nature.
Yeah, but also that's that dude's life, and
Yeah,
he's dedicating his whole time to making that happen.
yeah,
Um, and that's incredible. I mean, it's like watching, I'm not a sports ball dude. It's like watching one of these people like LeBron or somebody in their element. I'm like, yeah, I can dribble a basketball, but I'm not going to be that dude.
yeah,
So the question becomes like, what level of skill do you actually need to be able to relate the skill to someone else? And then also, how much of that skill matters compared to your ability to teach?
yeah. And,
And I know we've talked about all that stuff before, but I think you actually said it at this last class, and it clicked in my head. The difference between B and A is maybe a little bit of accuracy, but it's a lot of gamer stuff.
yeah,
And the difference between AM and GM is mostly just understanding the game and where to shave all the time off.
yeah. I
And
found that in Ace, and I found that with so I shoot with two A class shooters every Friday, and I brought this up with the class too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead, you're good.
Yeah, and I found, I've shot a couple of classifiers like off the books just because I want to see how I am. I want to do Hunter Constantine or Hunter Freeland's, I always confuse the two, pistol IQ test, and like see if I suck. Like I want to do these classifiers and see if I suck. And I have found consistently that the difference between doing really well and not has been, for me, gamer stuff. Like
Hmm.
I know exactly when to time my reloads. I'm looking at the targets and like stage planning everything through the walls. I am like, as one thing that I found, like I was shooting the same course of fire with one of these A class friends. Both of them are trying to get to M, and like they shoot every week or multiple times a week. One of them knocked on the door, and you heard him earlier today come over to borrow some USPSA targets. Um, they and I found like shooting the same course of fire. I did it once, and I did like okay, whatever. But he was a whole 3 seconds faster than me, and I'm like, hey, like
Yep.
how where did this fucking 3 seconds come from? And he's like, hey, well, I noticed like when you're getting into position, you don't bring the gun up before you get into position. You just park yourself there and then you point. Bring your gun up, start to do it 3 steps before you get to where you have to go. And
Yep.
I ran that same one again, cold, just keeping that in mind, and I did the exact same time as him. Like it was like 5 seconds as opposed to 8, and then I brought it down to like 5.2 seconds or something. And
Yep.
that was the difference. Like that was not something that I'd say would apply to the real world, and people may disagree with me, and that's fine. I'm retarded. Um,
Yeah. So the exact same thing happened to me. This last classifier I just shot. I shot it for the first time in my life, in January, and I shot like a 56% on it, which is dog shit. I mean, it's like, low C class. And then I went and shot it again a couple weeks ago, and the guy I was just talking about, the firearms director for this other agency, was like, "Hey, just remember, it's only I think 8 targets. Um, Make sure you're already ready to shoot. Like you've looked at the small point of a target through the netting, and as you're settling into your shooting position, the gun's up in your eye, and boom, you're ready to shoot. The second your barrel clears the edge of that, the pole that's holding the net up."
yeah,
And that's what I did, and it went up to like a 77 or 78% or
yeah,
something like that. So it was like a 20-point increase, which is putting me that much closer to being A class, and it had nothing to do with my actual shooting ability.
yeah,
It's just making the decision to shoot sooner because I can see through the wall.
yeah.
And again, that's not saying that it's not practical
No,
or it doesn't
100%.
apply or it doesn't make me a better shooter,
Yeah,
but the classification system is such a unique thing because it is a game, it is a sport.
yes,
And when you start to ascribe someone's ability to be in a lethal force encounter in this job or in combat overseas or whatever, and you try to put a USPSA classification on that,
yeah,
that is such an apples and oranges thing. And guys who have only ever competed and have not ever been opposed or had to decide to shoot someone or not in real life or whatever, they're never going to wrap their heads around that, and that's okay. I don't think they should have to, but I think that that's one of those things in the internet argument
yeah,
that is lost on folks when they only, like, kind of bringing it back full circle. We said before, if you don't have both sides of the coin of
yeah,
like, I have shot at real people or been shot at by real people, I have had to decide not to shoot real people, which all of those things are true for me. Just a different world. What you get out of competition shooting is the confidence to shoot a lot faster than how you're taught as a cop,
yes,
while still being as accurate or more accurate than what you need to be as a cop.
yeah.
Because frankly, here in Louisiana, you can shoot like absolute shit. Me and Jason, just for fun, have run the post course with our eyes closed and still passed it.
Holy shit.
Start to the 25-yard line. Like I can put the gun on the target and close my eyes at every stage of fire and still pass it. So you have a higher accuracy standard than being a cop, and you have to move 1,000 times faster than being a cop. And so for me, bringing that back to the work side, I am vastly more confident right now than even I was a year ago, because I realized that the shooting is not the hard part.
Yeah.
It's not this big barrier. So, and we're seeing a lot more cops are doing competitions as
Yeah.
well. I've gotten to meet a lot of really cool people. I got the firearms guy for New Orleans that's coming to shoot with us a bunch. I got 4 or 5 of my, I say I got, as in I don't mean like I got them to come to it, but I have consistent shooting matches with these people. Multiple guys from my team, um, buddies from guys from the members club, other instructors. I mean, it's building a cool community, and
I
it's
agree.
completely outside of all that toxic, like, internet bullshit of like, oh, the hard skills, brother.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Well,
bro.
that's one of the things that drives me the most crazy are people who are like, this is my one specific autistic discipline. Let's shit on all the other ones. Like, these things can all exist together. One thing does not contradict the other, and that's something I've always appreciated
Yep.
about you, which is like, hey, we just did a course on skills. What you should do next is like, one, like make a network that you can practice these soft skills with, but two, go take a course from someone who's a high level shooter, primarily like high level USPSA shooters or like people who
Hmm.
are
Yeah, you've heard me say that many times.
every single
You
class that
know.
I've ever been in with you.
Yeah, but people would say like, "Oh, don't go train with Orion because they don't do this, they don't do that," not knowing we have two GMs that teach most of our firearms classes, and then every time I'm in class, and this has been true since 2021, like you said, hey, go train with someone who shoots at the highest level possible. That's a good teacher,
Yeah.
and don't forget that other people teach these things just as well as we do,
Yeah.
and they'll have a different you benefit from that.
Yeah.
I,
You've
I think,
recommended a lot of high level shooters that are even outside of your network.
yeah, I think that maybe I can do a better job of presenting that online. Um, I wouldn't say I'm different in person, but there's a certain level of just disgust that I have with the online presence,
Yes.
you know,
I think so
that
too.
doesn't come
And
across.
even then to play devil's advocate for you, you can't exactly convey in a YouTube video or in an Instagram post or whatever what 3 days of 8 or 9 hours a day of teaching plus time on either
Mm,
end can convey. Like most people look at a headline or like open the first couple minutes or just go like, hey, this guy did X thing and fuck him because just drop a JDAM on it, as opposed to picking up all the
hmm.
nuance and everything else. um
Right.
and like as you and the Rangers especially were saying at the end of the day too, like a lot of this stuff, getting back to Musashi, applies to a lot of other things like what's a hallway, what's a T intersection, it's just a linear danger crossing. Like all of
Yep.
these things
All
are,
the road.
yep, they're within a standard deviation or two of everything else.
Yeah. No, and I think that kind of brings it in. We're talking about high level shooters and what do we need out of instructors and things like that. I'm a big fan of Hunter Freeland, and I don't know if you've had him on here before.
I haven't, but I'd like
Um,
to. I've done targets of his face, ironically, for his.
that's right.
Yeah,
You've drawn his face.
I've drawn his face
Um,
onto a target.
but he's
Which,
a great
yeah,
conversationalist. He is a no bullshit type of dude.
yeah,
Um, he can be kind of confrontational sometimes, but also has a really genuine way of bringing things around. So it's kind of that like masculine challenge that we need in the community, but without being like a massive cunt to everyone at the same time.
yes,
He's not going out of his way to defame people, but he's also like, hey, that's stupid. Don't do that.
yeah,
Um, and I really appreciate that. It's like a refreshing version of kind of what we've seen from other people that's just overdone.
yeah,
But on the other side of that, his skill set with the pistol is one of the best I've seen in person. Um, and one of the things that he says is, I would rather be a GM dude than a GM shooter. And if possible, obviously you can be both. But the point that he's making is like, you can be really good at shooting, you can be really good at C, you can be really good at whatever, but like being a good dude and understanding how to interface and deal with people, understanding teamwork and the flow, how to lead, how to follow, and like all that type of stuff is that's the kind of skill that gets ignored in an industry where if the only thing we evaluate is like one little piece of the puzzle, how well do you shoot a pistol in a game
yeah,
is not more important than the amalgamation of all these other skills. It's
yes,
huge, but it's not the most important thing of all time.
yeah.
Um,
And like if that's, and I'll stand by this, if that's someone's autistic special interest, or like if that's all they like doing, that's fine. Just like don't shit on other people for what they want to do. Like
Agreed.
yeah, like I've got
Agreed.
friends that, God love them, USPSA and the gamer stuff is all they do, and it's totally okay. This is But
Hmm.
God, please don't shit on other people for what they do. It,
I agree.
yeah,
I
I
agree.
I swear
I
that
think the
something has happened in the last few years because I don't remember the internet being as negative as it is. Maybe it's just
Well, it
maybe I'm just
goes in
older.
cycles, man.
Yeah.
It goes in cycles. It could just be that, CIA actors are trying to poison the online firearms community to make us all have more arguments than we do agree on things. Um, but I
I'd be
don't know.
inclined to believe that honestly. Like as much as that is just a God.
Yeah.
No, I hate how plausible that is.
Yeah, you've probably observed it in real time and just didn't realize.
Yeah, because I remember like getting into this, and initially I thought, hey, we had common enemies for a while. There was impending legislation, there was civil unrest, there was a summer of love 2020, there was all of this stuff happening at the same time, which kind of brought this whole community together in a way that I have not seen before or since. And now that there's not really anything to focus on, other than those silly lists, forget about those. Those don't exist. It's like the boogeyman,
Give them a nod.
don't worry about it. It's another $1 trillion to Israel.
Indeed.
But now that there's not really anything to focus on, we've all turned on each other, and I kind of hate that. But also the idea that there's agitators that may have professional or social
Hmm.
interests in just sowing discourse in communities that may or may not be considered by the government to be antisocial or like against the greater good.
Hmm.
I think
Interlinked.
that's a playbook as old as time.
Yeah. Well, and your listeners probably know this if they've listened before, if they're a long time. But I've had two different FBI investigations that I have files for domestic terrorism with my name on them because we were training American citizens.
Two, I
And
know about one.
yeah, I thought it was originally just one investigation. One was because a friend of a friend knew the guys, or the guy who the nine other FBI agents convinced to go try and kidnap the governor of Michigan or whatever.
Holy shit. Yeah,
And
wasn't
like,
that 15 agents total, including
yeah,
yeah,
it was like one guy with a 65 IQ,
yeah,
and
just
then
like
like
some guy
we
with
got,
a developmental disorder.
yeah, it was something to do with that, and I was like, no, I have no idea,
Yeah,
but like emails and DMs and stuff got subpoenaed, and then um it happened again, and that was when it was like it had to do with some other stuff when it comes to nonprofit work I've done, but also having to do a lot with how do you vet the people that you train and blah 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 blah, and they were largely focused on American citizens training in tactics. They had a lot of questions about,
yeah,
NVGs and breaching and, advanced shooting, quote unquote, and advanced medicine. And um, so there is 100% a large government fear of armed people that have as much equipment and skills as them. And to that, I would say good. That's
yes,
how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be afraid. You're supposed to want to do what your constituents want
yeah,
so they don't tar and feather you. And the fact that a training company, I mean, I am an active cop. I am in good standing in all these things. I have no record of anything, and I'm going to get called in and ask questions about how do you vet the American citizens that you're training.
yeah.
It's just, it really is, it put kind of eye opening to what people are worried about.
It
And,
implies a distrust of our own populace too. Like,
oh, absolutely.
like if someone's
Absolutely.
doing this, it must be for nefarious purposes. Like the idea
Hmm.
of like you can't just do this because you're interested in it or you think it's part of being a prepared citizen. It's no, you're probably the next Timothy McVeigh or something.
Right. Who, you know what? We're not going to get into that conspiracy theory.
Uh,
We'll get,
no, there definitely wasn't another driver. There definitely was not.
oh,
No, forget all of those reports. It was just made up. It wasn't
correct.
real, just like the lists.
Oh man, we have other stuff on our list. Speaking of things that are completely made up, what about community policing?
Yes,
Was
yes,
that
I
a
wanted to get
was
into
that a
this.
hard enough
It came up in the
point for
Discord
you?
a little.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we talked about it because, like you had told me before recording that some of your Discord bros had been asking about it. Um, I don't really know how to say it in a succinct way that's not super aggressive, but I'll just put it this way: community policing could mean a couple different things. I have seen it largely being a team of officers or people that are assigned to a part of the agency called the community police or the community policing initiative or whatever. And it's typically people that you would never in your life think should have a gun or a badge or whatever, and they go out to like the public park and hand out candy. And we jokingly within law enforcement often call those programs hug a thug,
Yeah.
because you're trying to convince people that you got their best interest at heart via really shitty bribery. It's like how when there's a company that's failing and it can't give its people raises, they do like a pizza party, but they cut the pizza slices in half and they buy you like the $1 lemonade from Walmart and they're like, "Oh, thanks for all your hard work. Here's a shitty pizza and lemonade." And you're like, "Man, I hate it here." That's kind of, in my opinion, what community policing is. It is a misguided attempt by an agency to endear the populace, usually in urban areas or places where they make more arrests or whatever, to trying to endear that populace to them via, look, we're people too. We like hot dogs. I'll eat a hot dog and dance with a cop and whatever. Um, in my opinion, that comes across as disingenuous,
Yeah.
and it does more to damage a department's relationship with the people. The reason departments feel the need to hire a specific person and put them in a sort of dog and pony show position is because the individual officer that is being hired is typically not the one that can relate to the community or have the depth and ability of both of emotion or intellect to flex their interaction as the populace needs it. For example, if you send a uniform patrol guy out to make contact with a person and he's having a bad day, and he's just a piece of shit to that person for no reason. He does his job, but he's just mean to them. That is going to turn that person against the police. And he is putting um I'm not gonna tell the chat what you just typed.
No, no, it's
Um
saving things for later. I just put in the
oh, I know. I know.
questions
I
for
love it.
later.
That individual officer is putting um himself before the community, his emotions before the community. And I'm saying this from experience. I have done this. Where I acted in a more negative way than I needed to, and it makes that person have a bad future interaction with a cop. So then, if somebody's been, written an extra ticket or told to fuck off or whatever it is by a cop that they thought was there to help them or whatever else, do you think handing them a hot dog in the city park and doing like TikTok with them is going to help? It's absolutely not. It makes you look ridiculous as an agency. So I think that community policing, when it's done that way, is really poor. But when you hire dudes that have a high emotional intelligence and high actual intelligence, and you train them well and you pay them well and you explain to them every single interaction you have with the public is our time. That's our time to build trust. Every single time you go out on a call, if you think about those people, that could be your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, your wife, your kids. Treat them with respect. They'll treat you with respect, and you build that. In my opinion, that is community policing, being a part of that community and treating them like human beings at the individual officer level. If mostly the people that are having interactions with the police are having positive interactions where there's not you're not layering on extra bullshit and putting your personal self while in the uniform first. I think that is where you build community, and that's where you have community policing. But a program of quote unquote community policing is typically, in my opinion, dog shit and a poor attempt by a department to cover up previous bad acts.
I'd actually never heard of the phrase community policing before he brought it up and you kind of explained it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm inclined to believe that. Um, the Hug a Thug program sounds kind of funny though. Like
Yeah.
just in that's well, there's nothing that gets ruined faster than anything bureaucrats touch. Like anything
Yes.
that's not genuine. And
Yes.
not to complain about Canada again, but this is the art. I have to. I'm still not over my generational trauma of being raised under a Commonwealth. Um, that is the exact opposite of what the Canadian Federal Police do, which the Federal Police are also in charge of policing most of small town Canada. Like there's no sheriff's departments; it's all RCMP,
Right.
and they are flown out and cycled every 2 years. They will take people from the big city and they will fly them to a small town, and purposely and institutionally, this is stated, they will get rid of them before they can build community bonds. they will cycle them with 2 other recruits from like Montreal or Toronto or somewhere else before that they can, lay down roots and gain the trust and, integrate with the community. They will fly them out and then replace them with 2 new, like wet behind the ears kids who are suddenly getting posted to bumblefuck, kind of like a military deployment.
That's wild to me.
Yep. And you hear about all kinds of things, like in poor areas, like cops sometimes like drive people out in the middle of nowhere and just like leave them on the side of the road, called the Starlight Walks, and all sorts of scandals with the RCMP. And it's like, why do you think this kind of stuff is happening? Like you're fostering
Hmm.
us versus them on an institutional level. And that
Yep.
I don't want to like ascribe blame where there is or isn't necessarily, but I do feel like a lot of that is because like you can't get cops from that community who give a fuck. You're flying out 21-year-olds from Montreal, Canada, and you're putting them on like the edge of a native reserve and giving them a gun and saying, "Hey, you're God now."
That's wild to me. Yeah, it's so there's a theory that the whole defund the police thing, which of course ended up getting derailed because our government changes which way it leans, even though we all know it's two wings of the same bird.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The defund the police thing under Obama and Biden became um, a weird push. And then as departments started having all these problems, the federal government would step in and say, well, you guys are understaffed. Your justice system is failing. You have corruption and problems and blah, 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 blah. Let us step in and we'll handle it for you. And that starts to look like what you just described, where what used to be fairly large, well-funded agency now has to give up its authority to an outside party that still has jurisdiction, which of course becomes the state or the federal government. Um, I think it was an interesting experiment to see how much would small town or even mid-sized America give up its local governing authority for armed enforcement to another power, a larger power. And by and large, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
But in my opinion, I think that was a big part of the, kind of like with COVID. Let's just see how far people will let us take this. Um, and ultimately, it got enough pushback that it didn't become the norm. But I think that any government that truly hates and doesn't trust its people is not going to allow them to have small local government, much less armed police
yes,
that are from their own community, because you're way less likely to betray your own people.
very much so.
Um, that being said, if we look at what happened in Poland in World War II, most of the people that were rounded up for being the wrong ethnicity or for being gay or crippled or whatever else, there's a book you should read called Ordinary Men, and
Oh
it's
yes,
about
excellent book.
the excellent book. Yeah, it's about that happening. So that's not to say that because of human nature and living in a fallen world, that people don't hate their neighbors,
Yeah,
but it's much easier to commit atrocities when you don't know the people and you're not going to live there for another year.
very much so. And gosh, I have a couple of two friends of mine, and just one of them for now. Her name's Jessie. Moved over here from Toronto, Canada, just like chasing a job. Got a job, is integrating with the culture here, and there's so many culture shocks that I can think about.
Hmm,
The big one
I
is,
bet.
yeah, a huge one is policing and the idea of it, because the idea of a sheriff's department that simply chooses to not enforce a federal law, which
Hmm,
she's in Eastern Washington, so it's like a lot of them, is a concept that is so completely foreign to most Canadians. Like
yeah.
the
No, I mean,
yeah,
we had agencies down here that were completely just disregarding everything that had to do with COVID and the CDC and all that.
yeah, it's like
Hey,
agencies
we're
will,
just not going to do that.
and that's one of my favorite things about America that I cannot stress enough, that local law enforcement generally and ideally, and obviously this isn't the case a lot of the time, but they're elected by their constituents and they represent those constituents and are generally from the area. So they will generally reflect the wants and cultures of what's around them. Generally, again, in an ideal world, there are exceptions to this, but I will take those exceptions over a federalized police force that the feds just fly in and dump on your doorstep.
Yeah.
Everyone always
No,
has to
it's
think about the alternatives.
yeah, you're 100% correct. It reminds me, we were talking about the FBI stuff. This lady, that the one that interviewed me was, I had just worked with her peripherally. She was in the same conference room. We're on a sting op for human trafficking stuff.
Yeah.
and I assumed she was from here. I just didn't think about it. And I'm like, so we're talking or whatever, and I understand interrogation tactics and things like that. She's getting me comfortable and trying to ask peripheral questions or whatever. I'm like, where are you from? You must be from Louisiana, huh? Oh no, I'm from Ohio. I just got a sign down here or whatever.
Yeah,
And it was kind of jarring to remember, like, this is a foreign place to her. She does not care about what happens.
yeah,
She's not invested.
100%.
She's from a completely different state. She got assigned here against her will. Nobody wants to work in New Orleans, bro.
Yeah. And
Um,
keep in mind too, if you're working for the feds directly, you probably went to some higher, like, academic institution. Probably didn't go
hmm
to your local community college. You probably didn't go to wherever. You are from an educated background, and you probably skew upper middle class. Like, you
hmm
probably don't have a lot of time, boots on the ground, dealing as like a civilian with what you're dealing with now. Like, you've come at
100%.
this, yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, you're
all
good.
sorts of feelings about that specific, like,
No, you're good.
yeah,
I mean, that ties into one of the other topics we were talking about with the summer of love stuff and, like,
yeah,
big government just allowing things to happen, stuff getting burnt down and whatever. It's not something you see in cities and places that are truly locally governed.
yes, 100%.
But when you have somewhere like, Minneapolis, which has got 20,000 officers or whatever it is, um, in 2020, they let some insane amount of property. It wasn't literally $1 billion, but it was like $1 billion of property damage. Hundreds of businesses burnt to the ground, and they were ordered just don't do anything. And while those guys do work there, and obviously I can't speak for them all as individuals, there was probably a lot of them that were like, good, fuck it, they have insurance. I don't want to put myself at risk.
Yeah,
And it's different when it's like your neighbor owns that store,
yeah,
you know? Um, so I think there's definitely something to be said for, like, large government is going to allow failures in a different way, or they're going to even be the perpetrators of failure via hiring or intentional acts of ill will versus, local government, which I think is how it should be.
yes, I 100% agree.
Could tie that into missing 411 about the government refusing to investigate all the people missing in caves.
Oh God, are we going to start schizo posting? Let's get into this. Let's fucking get into
It
this.
might be time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at like an hour and 15, so like another 20 or 30 minutes of just absolute schizophrenia, and you probably would not lose any listeners.
I just I I don't give a fuck. I record the show for me. I don't know if a lot of people get that. Like, I am still here because I enjoy this. If I stopped enjoying this, Art and War wouldn't exist tomorrow. Um, that being
That's
said,
too
I
funny.
have had most of my second Americano, so I'm going to abscond for another minute. I've broken the
Do your
seal. I'm
thing.
so sorry.
It's
I'm not
okay.
going to take.
Okay.
I'm not going to take my camera into the bathroom though. You can't see with the PCs. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back from my throne. Okay, fucking missing 411 pyramids, actual angels coming down. What was his name? The cast of the Avengers coming here for nuclear disarmament. Thor. Yes, let's fucking get into
Valiant
this.
Thor. So we were talking about the government failing, and there's a couple different ways that we can segue that. I think that before we go straight into like angels from Venus trying to disarm us from nukes, I think we have to get into the missing 411 first,
Yes, God.
because I think Bigfoot might be a multi-dimensional entity, and the missing 411 ties directly into that, and that would kind of like prep our audience to be like, okay,
All right,
maybe
these
there's
guys are
something to this.
schizophrenic. I'm not going to listen to another word they
Right.
say, but I don't care because I am schizophrenic. Listen
I,
to me. I'm going to go shout this shit through a megaphone outside of City Hall.
it's actually just you talking to no one. I've been imaginary this whole time.
We're all in a simulation. It's just
That's
me in
right.
a padded room somewhere. I think I'm a C-list podcast host, but in actuality, I'm just drooling and shitting myself. Um, okay, let's get into missing 411. I love this. I hate
So
the fact it's real.
yeah, I mean, at least it's not me,
Mhm.
So for anybody listening, it's a sort of a podcast, sort of a documentary. It's if I remember right, 2 or 3 long episodes, a couple hours, and you can find it on YouTube. And then it's also been hosted on other platforms. It's called The Missing 411, and it basically focuses on a private investigator that spent like 10 years investigating multiple disappearances, and it led to sort of unraveling this massive problem that there's over, I want to say it's over 1,200 people that have gone missing in national parks in the US that have never been found. And the Park Service can't or won't look for them. except in a lot of cases, the FBI comes in and takes the case over. And the FBI, if you don't know this, doesn't do missing persons cases unless they think a foreign entity had something to do with it, or there's some sort of nefarious act
Yeah.
that is like a series of related acts. They're not going to investigate just like one missing person unless they think it's going to be multiple things that are combined. So it's really weird that the FBI would come in and take some of these cases. Another thing that's really interesting about it is the disappearances always happen around three factors. One is an unexpected weather event. It's going to have some kind of precipitation. Some of it's snow, depending on where you are, but it's mostly rain within 24 to 48 hours before or after the disappearance. There's a weather phenomenon. It happens near a granite stone field or just on granite. And then also, if the body is found, it's always naked. If the body is not found, they find the clothing typically folded and clean.
Yeah.
Sometimes not even anywhere near the body
Yeah.
was
Miles and
last
miles.
seen.
Like the
Yeah,
I remember
through
one that the shoes were like neatly put next to a
Yeah, man, this little kid goes missing hiking a trail in Colorado. And when I say like goes missing, it's like they're looking at him playing in a creek. They turn to say something to the mother and they look back and he's gone.
yeah.
Like within a matter of moments, poof, disappears. There was no wet footprints on either side of the bank. There's no splashes, stuff like that where it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And the dad goes back to this same place and searches. There was like 500 people searching, a helicopter. Anytime a kid goes missing, people freak out and
Yeah.
search. Hundreds of volunteers. No one finds even a footprint, a trace, no hair, no clothing, no wild animal. There's no blood. There's no sign. It's like he vanished into thin air. And like 2 or 3 years later, the dad is hiking that same trail, just hoping to see something, and he finds the kid's brand new shoes that were bought for that trip, unaged, no dirt, no like water stains, no mildew, just sitting on a rock.
I remember that. Yeah.
And he
It's like
has
placed
in
neatly
the
too.
yeah, and he shows the shoes. He's like, I physically have them in my possession.
Yeah.
Like, I showed the authorities. There's nothing they can do with it. They're like, wow, okay, we'll document it. But it's stuff like that. And
Yeah.
here's the
There's
crazy
so
part
many
that gives me
cases
the
of it. Yeah.
yes, that gives me the goosebumps. If you overlay the cave network in the U.S. with the national park missing persons locations, it's a 1-for-1 match.
Oh God. I have to bring it up. The descent. It's the descent
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So
Divergent human evolution.
and that descent show, it makes a point of like when she exits up out of the like tree roots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in the Appalachians, especially, there's all these networks of caves that are just unexplored because they're too dangerous. And if you get into like skinwalkers and all that kind of stuff, I mean, there are things that the Native Americans who lived here, for thousands of years before it was settled by white people. I know Vikings visited and this and that, but Asiatic people that came over a land bridge have been here for forever, and they have all these legends and tales about these spirits and stuff that live out here, and one of them being the Bigfoot,
Yeah.
to include like the Bigfoot's face carved into totem poles and stuff. And they have legends about this, like the Big Brother, I think is what some of them call him, some of the legends. And it was well known to be like a capricious entity. It could be friendly, it could be mean. It was known to like steal people away in the night and they would never come back.
Yeah.
And if you look at the sightings of these things, they also overlay pretty well on this map of missing people and cave networks.
Yeah.
Um, they get into this a little bit in the missing 411, and just they're like, hey, since the government won't talk about any of it and refuses to openly investigate any of these cases, let's talk about all the crazy shit that it could be. And they talk a little bit about Bigfoot and some of the other like cryptids in the area that
Yeah.
locals will say like, oh yeah, 20 people have gone missing in the last 10 years. We think it's this creature. My family's lived on this land for 300 years and we've seen this thing, and the feds will just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it's if you go watch the missing 411, it's absolutely bananas, dude.
I highly, highly recommend it to anyone that hasn't. It's important to note that a lot of these people that went missing too were experienced woodsmen. And
Mm-hmm.
there were people, all ages. It wasn't just kids, it was a lot of adults too. One that jumps to my head, and we talked about this a little bit at the class, was a line of hunters. And one of the fellows, he wasn't, so old that, you know, dementia or anything would likely be a factor. but they were all in the tree line, spacing about 100 yards apart, if I remember correctly. They all had rifles and they were waiting. And the family had an
Mm-hmm.
SOP for if one of them, ever fell and got in trouble or anything, which was 3 blasts into the air and everyone would come running. One of them, just in the tree line, waiting for whatever they were hunting, just disappears. And I think
Hmm.
similarly, like weeks later, they find the rifle, um, just leaning against a tree, and they just never see
Yep.
him again. And
The candy wrapper too, I think.
yeah, he had a candy in his pocket or something, and
Yep.
they this was not someone who wasn't used to the woods. He was out there almost every day. He hunted. His whole family were big bushcraft autists. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of it were, well, these are people going missing from national parks, so it stands to reason a lot of them are outdoorsy. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
know. Either way, I carry a gun into the woods and I don't go alone. That being said,
well, and
the gun's for me if it's going to be a Bigfoot. I don't want to deal with whatever Bigfoot's going to do to me.
that's another interesting thing you bring up. They talk about in the missing 411. One of the common factors in this story is that no one was ever alone.
Yes, everyone was like they're pretty close to each other, or you turn around and the kid's gone.
Uh huh. So like the whole like I don't go into the woods alone thing,
Yeah, that's
it
not going to
doesn't
save my
whatever
ass.
whatever this is doesn't care. It
Yeah.
just means that you're going to end up on a podcast.
Yes. Like
Because
right now.
someone lived to talk about how you just vanished. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's so many theories about what it is, and people of faith like myself believe in God and what the Bible has to say is as absolute truth. How do you reconcile stuff like that? How do you reconcile the supernatural or the natural or string theory or aliens or demons? I mean, there's all this stuff that people try to like jam together. And ironically, you and I were talking about Valiant Thor right before the podcast
Yes.
recording started. I found out about him because I was listening to the Missing 411 with my wife when we were up in Boston. It's just a 24-hour drive to Boston,
Yes.
so we listened to all these podcasts on the way coming from Louisiana, and we listened to Missing 411, and then we listened to another one done by Ashley Flowers. She's also the one that does Crime Junkies.
Yeah.
If you've not listened to Crime Junkies, it's one of the better done crime podcasts.
I
I think the
actually haven't
name,
listened to that. I don't listen to a lot of true crime because
um, I don't because I hate it because crime is not fun.
yeah.
Um, I'm not like, ooh, tee hee, girl, get the popcorn. This woman got brutally raped and butchered.
Yeah. Like,
They're also
you
not.
want to expand your business? Welcome to time to use Squarespace. Like,
But on that note, these women, what they do at because I don't want to malign their reputation.
yeah.
They have a nonprofit that has helped solve tons of cases by paying for familial genetic testing stuff.
Yeah.
So they raise money with their podcast. They raise awareness. They've solved a lot of cases
I
by
actually
getting
appreciate
like data out there.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, all of it to say, Ashley Flowers, who does that podcast, also does one that's about supernatural shit, and she talks about this Valiant Thor guy, and that led me into researching him and going down a rabbit hole, and it is absolutely fucking insane.
Please.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, who was Valiant Thor? It's Valiant like the word for like valorous, and then Thor like how we would spell the Marvel character or the Norse pagan god of thunder. Um, Apparently sometime in the 60s when Eisenhower was president, he showed up in a field in Virginia wearing like alien type like a golden suit and was like, take me to the president, quite literally take me to your leader. We have to talk about nuclear weapons. And he was brought down to the station, and one thing led to another, and they ended up bringing him to the Pentagon. And long story short, he finally got an audience with the president after proving like he's not a human being. There's a DoD file on him that you could FOIA request, and it's all still redacted.
Yeah.
Um, he claimed he was described as like a brown-haired, brown-eyed. I think he was brown-eyed, conventionally attractive, well-built Caucasian male.
He's played
And I
also
would
by Chris
assume,
Hemsworth.
I would assume that if he was who he said he was, that's just kind of like his chosen image. And I want to put that in context real quick. We know from the Bible that angels can take human form and interact as humans, to and include like how we have the Nephilim breeding with humans and producing children in some cases, right? So it would make sense that he could take this form because he claimed to be an angel from Venus, of all things. It's insane to me. And people asked him, like, well, okay, you're an angel, so like, is Jesus real? What does that mean? And he was like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. So he put into context for a lot of people that believe in aliens and stuff, the whole like, angels and demons are just different creations. They're what we would call aliens, all unexplained science is magic type of thing. He made that very real for a lot of people in the 60s that got to read his book. There's a book out there called Hope for Mankind, I think, written by Valiant Thor and
Really?
published through a pastor. Yes. He wrote it and gave it the manuscript to a pastor who had a printing press through his church, and that guy printed it. The dude would go to church in DC. Anyway, go listen to the podcast on him. But allegedly they did like weapons testing on him as part of like the proof. He was like, "Shoot me in the chest with a pistol, it will bounce off of me," and they were like, "Get the fuck out of here." And then eventually they did it, and like modern weaponry couldn't hurt him. But his pitch to Eisenhower, and this makes a lot of sense if you understand the history of Eisenhower's presidency, his pitch was God is very angry that we use nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
And basically, America is cursed unless we get rid of the nuclear weapon program. And to do that, obviously, we have to get rid of the whole world's nuclear weapon program. And his argument was not even the angels and the demons fight with nuclear weapons. There's a supernatural consequence to fighting with nuclear power, and you should not do it. And you have, I think he said, like, you have 4 years or 5 years or whatever it was. So Eisenhower, this is another official record you can look up. I think it was like 12 or 14 times he petitioned the UN to allow Valiant Thor to speak at the UN Assembly, and they denied him every time. Um, Eisenhower's daughter, who lived obviously a lot longer than he did, was interviewed about this, and I want to say like the late 80s, early 90s, and she confirmed. She's like, yeah, he was at the White House. He met with my dad a ton of times. I have his manuscript of his book, and I had conversations with him. He's very handsome and like all this kind of stuff. Um, he just like this dude that like hung around the DoD and the White House for a few years, and then he told them all like, "Hey, I have to go. I have to leave, and I'm not able to come back. My mission is done,
Yeah.
and
I tried,
there's still
guys.
hope."
You fucked up.
Yeah, I tried. The mission was to disarm you guys from nukes, and I couldn't do it. So you have to continue on, and that's what he wrote his book about. Like there is hope that you can disarm,
Yeah.
and then he just vanished into thin air, and there's zero record of where he went.
Holy shit.
Like he didn't have any friends, he didn't have any family ties, no one knew who he was, and then when he disappeared, he no one filed a missing persons report. Like he just disappeared. Poof. One day he was gone, and nobody knows where he went.
Yeah.
In my mind, it kind of parallels what we read about in the Old Testament with the story of Lot. And I don't know if you're familiar with Lot in
I am, but I think
it,
you should explain it.
yeah. So Lot is a close relative of Abraham, and he lives in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. And God tells Abraham, "Hey, I'm going to nuke Sodom and Gomorrah. Not literally. Yeah, I'm going to
You
burn
turn
it.
everyone into pillars of salt.
Yeah, I'm going to burn it to ash because it's so wholly evil and unredeemable that I need to just blight it off the face of the earth." And the only reason God's telling Abraham this is because Abraham is nearby, and he's like, "Hey, don't worry when you see a meteor come from the sky. Essentially, these people just have to pay."
Yeah.
And
Don't turn
they've
around.
completely turned away. They've completely turned, right? So Abraham begs God for Lot's life. He says there is one. If there was, I think he kind of debates God. If there was even 50 holy men in Sodom and Gomorrah, would you save it? And God says, well, yeah, that would be worth it. And Abraham, knowing it's way less than that, well, if there was even 15, and so on, until he gets down to like five. And then he says, well, there are five. It's Lot and his wife and daughters. Please save them. And God says, okay, I'll send some men to help you. So three angels appear under a tree in the form of men, and it even says that they were like handsome. Women would desire to be with them.
Yeah.
And Abraham goes out. They feed them. They give them whatever they need, and they're like, "Hey, we're on the way to Sodom and Gomorrah. We're going to get your people out, and we're going to destroy it." So they appeared human. They were conventionally attractive. They ate and drank like anyone else, just like Valiant Thor did.
Yeah.
They came from heaven, quote unquote, the sky, and they had a mission and they accomplished it, and then they left and nobody knew where they went or where they came from. it's I mean, it's the same type of story. It lines up. I don't
Yeah.
know why it would be any different. So it's really interesting to see that parallel in Old Testament scripture, and then this dude showing up and being like, hey, y'all are fucking up, don't use nuclear weapons.
Yeah. And also he met with the president, 30 plus times, which
Yeah.
like a random LSD fried hippie, which is what your brain immediately jumps to, does
Right.
not get to do that unless there is something else.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Absolutely insane to me that that actually happened. There is a personnel file on him at the DoD that you can request. I mean, it's like that he actually did exist. It's not a like an internet rumor. It's not Slender Man where we all thought about
Yeah.
it enough and it happened.
Well, it's
Uh,
like what's that thing that we were talking about before? It's like nothing will make you as schizophrenic as finding out like 5 things that the CIA has declassified and fully admits to.
yeah, yeah, like spreading like horrific infectious diseases in black communities.
Yep.
Um,
Oh gosh,
syphilis.
I read a book about that once. Like it was a fictional
Uh huh.
book, but it was like yeah, it was like a CIA kind of black op on researching the effects of syphilis. But it turned out it was based on a real project.
Yeah, that actually happened.
Yeah.
Spraying measles over New York with a crop dusting plane, stuff like that. Which is
Yep.
just like, how could our own government do this and then lie about it? And it sounds so made up, and
Yeah.
it's not at all.
Yeah, I was going to say like 50 to 100 years later, or like not even 100 years, like the Finders Papers is like 25, 30 years old, and that's been declassified. That's fucking horrific. Have you heard of that?
The say it
The
again?
Finders Papers.
No, my ears snagged on that, and I was like, I don't think I've heard of that.
I feel like it's a little more topical now, thanks. For example,
Finders
that list
papers.
that does not exist. It's if you think about the list too hard, you are against America. It's a lie made up by
Yeah,
Obama. Um, Very similar to that. It was, and this is all declassified. It's come up in the show before. You can read it in, FBI.gov. It's all a lot of it's been FOIA'd. A series of reports were made about dirty children being seen with men in suits in national parks, and there is a subsequent, and I believe it was like a 97-page report or similar that you can read all of. And TLDR, the whole thing sounds so much more schizophrenic. I would recommend looking into it. It was a child sex trafficking cult that was funded and run by the CIA, and the FBI found this out over the course of their investigation. They're like, "Oh, okay, never mind. No one was ever charged."
absolutely insane.
Yeah, and it's all declassified. It's all out there. The implications of it are horrific, but they also, it's topical. That's all I'll say. It's topical.
Yeah, I pulled it up on the FOIA on the FBI's website right now.
Yeah.
A lot of it's still redacted,
Yes.
just names of agents. It looks like. Um, yeah, there it is. CIA, April 1992. Wow, that's absolutely incredible. So I don't know if you know this, but you can take things like this URL and you
Yeah.
can put it into Chat GPT, which I don't do because I think that AI might be demons trapped in computer chips, but that's another conversation. Um, but you can take this stuff and you put that URL in ChatGPT and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, go read this entire thing and give me a synopsis in however many words. I want a 6-page synopsis of this." I'm looking at the vault right now for the FBI records. It's a 322-page report. And that's just the first one.
Yeah.
So take these 322 pages, break it down into 5 pages. You give it a minute, and then poof, I have a 5-page synopsis of all of the high points.
That is very
Um,
clever.
yeah, it's very helpful. I figured that out actually today or yesterday. A good friend of mine, the same one that sent me that poetry book we were talking about earlier, was trying to figure out the difference between all the Epstein books that have been released.
Yeah.
Um,
Those don't
and
exist.
I
You're
was like,
crazy.
no, no, of course not. I'm like, oh, just put it in ChatGPT. So they got all the URLs, put it in ChatGPT, and was like, boom, here's a comparison and a critical analysis, not only of release dates, but contents.
Yeah.
So, like, some of these books were released in like 2014, and they're no different than any of the modern ones, which makes us wonder, like, are they all just copies? Is it a cover up?
Well,
Is the
obviously,
list.
Obama had to start writing somewhere.
Of course, yes. Uh, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. Man, I feel so old, but
Terrible.
I'll straight up say that out loud sometimes. I'm just like grocery shopping, and I'll see something that's like more expensive than it should be, and just immediately like thanks Obama without thinking about it. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but
But we are, I mean, we are old ultimately.
yes,
Like, I go to these classes, and I went to one in I had just turned 30 and I went to one, and there was a young guy there was like 18 or 19 years old. He was going into the military, and I was not telling a war story, but making a point about context. He was like, "Man, you have this life experience, you know. You got to be like what, like 45 years old?" And I was just looking at him like, "Dude, I'm so dead inside now. Like the little bit of serotonin that has started to crawl back into my brain is gone now."
It's gone, and it's
I
your fault.
Yeah, I realized that I have like a deadpan face. I have bags under my eyes. I have the laugh wrinkles and all that stuff. I don't look like, just looking at me, I don't look happy. I was actually recently told that I look like I stare at people like the hoot owl from the Tootsie Roll commercial.
It's like weirdly specific.
Yes, because like my mom would say I have dreamy eyes, you know, I have the half lid, like my eyes are kind of like half closed a lot if I'm just sitting there. Um, but apparently to people who don't know me, and you know, your mother, no one will love you like your mother. And to everyone else, I just look like really fucking mad.
Yeah.
And like judgmental, and I could be having the best day of my life, and apparently that's not how it looks.
That is really funny. I've always known you as someone with a little bit of a sense of whimsy, so I guess I've never seen that. But
Right?
yeah,
That's what I'm saying, dude. I'm whimsical as fuck, bro. I was playing in the rain earlier, like I was 5 years old. I saw a big puddle and I went and jumped in it.
yeah.
But you know, nobody gets to see that. Gotta Who's gonna carry the boats? You gotta stay hard, brother. I
People take
told that I
themselves
look
too
like a,
seriously these days. I think you got to be
they
a little
do.
silly. Like,
I agree, and it's important to poke fun at
yeah,
yourself. I will say, Musashi says, and I like this, not to speak ill of yourself in front of other warriors because it diminishes your spirit. But he's not talking about poking fun. He's talking about like when you see guys do a run in a CQB house, they're like, "Man, I'm gonna fuck this one up. I
yeah,
suck," you know. And it's like, "Hey, bro, we're not here for that."
yeah,
But being like, "I look like the goofy character when I'm angry," like that's different. You
yes.
know, we can.
I think so.
You need
You can poke
to be
fun
able
at
to.
yourself, but I think, like many things, it's intent based.
Agreed. 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 And I think that it's also an endearment thing too. Like if people understand that you can laugh at yourself,
Yeah,
they'll take you more seriously when you're being serious because they know that you're not always like, "Oh, it's the most serious thing ever. I'm Mr. Big Tough Guy," you know.
yeah.
Um, Another one I've been told is I look like a Tibetan fox.
What?
Dude, Google it. It's again, it's like the like deadpan, pissed, like eyes half closed. If you're listening to this right now and your hands free, Google a Tibetan fox, and
Oh, fuck me.
apparent.
Oh man, no comment. No comment.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I don't know. He's kind of got downsy eyes a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little too much. I agree. I think it's more of like it's a caricature,
Yeah,
you know. Um, but like I said, when I'm like just sitting there not paying attention, my eyes are like they look like they're almost half closed. Like that dude, he just looks like annoyed at the world.
yeah. No, I can kind of see that sometimes, sometimes. But I have to like step out of knowing you as a person to even conceive of that.
Right. I also don't smile with my eyebrows a lot. And like something I noticed about people online, me and Orion Concept were talking about this a couple days ago. People will like jam their eyebrows to their forehead when they're talking about something. You know, they're like, "Okay, guys, today we're talking about this," and they just like
It's very
their whole
YouTuber
face is just
face, like the
yeah, yeah. It's like the soy jack. Like,
yeah,
"Oh, can you believe this?" I'm not expressive with my eyebrows 24/7.
yeah,
I'm expressive when I have to be. Like I can do the rock eyebrows and stuff like that. You know.
yeah.
Um, but I don't use like the upper part of my face to express things, and I think that's part of why my eyelids are always half closed because I'm trying so hard not to be a YouTube like,
A
"Oh
YouTube.
my, yeah, check out the new Sig P320
Like
or whatever."
that this thing's going to revolutionize gun. Like man,
The Glock killer, the most tested pistol in history.
man, I genuinely like, and I'm starting to feel this way about Instagram a little bit too. I do think like gaming the algorithm and whatnot has ruined content. Like
Yep, it
I do
has.
think that there's something to be said about people who build everything organically and just like, hey, like I will put out consistent good content, and those people do exist. And I've tried, and I would like to try again to be that person, but like, fuck me, dude. I see so much just like AI slop and just like, look at this, like the Springfield Kuna, it's the MP5 killer, like it's gonna revolutionize everything. It's like, dude, this year as a shot show, I don't remember a single thing that I fucking saw, man. I did not like I fucking weaved between the raindrops at that show, and just like saw the people I wanted to see and left, and it was great for that. Like I love seeing all the guys that I get to see once a year, and after that it's like, wow, did I see anything cool? Everyone's asking me. It's like, no, what? Guns? What are those?
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me I have to go to SHOT Show,
I think it's worth
and
it for the social aspect. Like it's
right,
like even the first year I was there, it's like, oh, cool, another AR-15 variant. Like, no, it's always just
yeah,
about spending time with people, and I think if you go in with that mindset, then you'll have a good time. If you go in there
agreed.
going to a trade show, then you're going to be miserable. Like,
When I sell a service, I
yeah,
sell instruction and like a personable, practical approach to teaching. I don't
yes,
sell a product.
yes, and
And
likewise, I'm an entertainer,
oh,
and
yeah,
like in a
but
weird way, and I sell a
I think
service as well, generally more like business facing, but also just private
hmm
clients. So it behooves would maybe behoove either of us to go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're good. I just agree with what you're saying. I think that you're selling a service, I'm selling a service.
Yeah, it's
The
networking.
people ask.
It's all networking. It's putting faces to names, and it's the concept of social proof.
Yes.
Yeah,
And what I've heard is that a lot of people will get a hotel, like a suite for a couple of days.
yeah,
And that way, like when people are in town for the show
yeah,
that you want to meet, they can just come to the hotel that you're at
yes,
and you don't have to go to the actual show and pay exorbitant fees and get tags and all that. Like I could give a fuck about walking around and looking at the newest whatever stupid product, but
yes.
there are plenty of people I would like to actually meet.
Yes, I agree. Like I went to the booths that my friends were already working at just to say hi, kiss hands and shake babies kind of thing.
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
but also spend time with the people that I like, which is primarily it. And I think for that it is worth it. Like it is.
I wouldn't mind running a booth or helping run a booth. Like I would guys like Pharaoh and dudes like that I'm super close with,
Yeah,
like personally. I'm texting with those guys today.
yeah,
Um,
they seem like
we
cool
have like a
individuals.
meme chat. Oh, they're fantastic people. I mean, Pharaoh makes incredible kit,
Yeah, I
but
run
the
a roll
people,
on my shit,
me,
as you saw.
yeah, dude, they're everywhere, man. The people at the company to me are what make it.
Yes.
In addition to the product being so good, but the
Yeah.
people at the company are phenomenal,
Well,
and
yeah.
something like that I would be down for. I'm not there to walk around the trade show, but people walking around the trade show will come and talk to me,
Yes.
so I can stand in one place, look pretty, and still meet plenty of people.
Yes, I agree. That and I don't know. Like a lot of people, I would say a vast majority of people don't get into this industry because they want to make money. It is not the industry to make money, 9 times out of 10.
You're correct.
Yeah, so you'll find people who are fairly like-minded, or at least think they are, for better and for worse, generally for better.
Mm.
And that's kind of what I like Shot Show for. I don't think I've had any real negative interactions there, except for having to smell Liver King. Uh, yeah,
Oh,
no, it wasn't fantastic. He was like within 20 yards of me, and just like, who boy, that boy's endocrine system is like fucked up or something.
I mean, quite literally is. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about pheromones earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
the way people smell just taking like when they're blasting test
Yeah.
and trin and D-ball and all this stuff, and they just smell like an onion factory
Oh,
with like some raw meat mixed in.
yeah. I think that is
I
the
can't imagine
worst
what those dudes
I've
smell like.
ever smelled another human being smell, with the exception of one particular group that I won't name.
Why was Liver King at SHOT Show?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of people you'd never just imagine. They're just there. Fucking Kyle Rittenhouse was
I mean, he shot more people than either of us, so I get it. Like,
there. Fair call.
you know,
Fair call. No, it just like a lot of the kind of like, I want to call them griftfluencers, I guess. A lot of those guys
mm,
show up just because I think same reason a better person would go: social proof, content making, everything like that.
hmm.
He was this there at the cry party.
How bad is the gun bunny scene?
Surprisingly not. Um,
Okay, that's
I
good.
think I didn't even see a gun bunny this year. I'm sure they existed, but I didn't. If so, I didn't perceive them. The last year, I saw one who's like, oh my, like a tight t-shirt, like crop top that said like, my gender pronouns are 9/millimeter, and I just thought that was
Bruh.
so bad, just like gay. and retarded that I remember it now, like 2 years later. Just like, my guy, like I would not leave the
So
house
good.
looking like that. Fucking lady, what are you doing? But
But
I
it's
do
that
have to think that like a huge like target demographic of a lot of this stuff are the same sort of people who like buy Black Rifle coffee like every morning and
that's what I was
like,
gonna say. It's that like cheesy, hell yeah, brother. I would say that, so I'm gonna put it on a T-shirt,
yeah,
and there's no depth to it.
yeah, like Tim Kennedy
Those are the same,
doing,
yeah,
yeah,
the same people that think the stripper loves them and will waste their money going to a strip club and stuff like that. I mean, it's just goofballs, and that's the whole thing that turned me away from SHOT Show is
yeah.
that type of culture. Like it's in Vegas for a reason,
I will say that that is a minority. It is a lot less than you'd expect, and I say that
That's
as
good.
someone who is like very critical and very annoyed by that culture. Like it
That's
is
good.
more people like you and me.
When some of my guys that consistently go to it representing other companies are like, dude, it's not like that if that's not who you're with. It's all about who you're hanging
A
out
hundred
with.
percent. Yeah, it's like I'm
Yeah,
sure that would be your shot show experience if that's who you're around.
right.
I'm very grateful and lucky, and not to overuse the term blessed, to have my social group being people that I can actually fucking stand. So
Right.
yeah, it's very little gun bunny. It's very little like, hell yeah, brother. Let's go shoot machine guns at nothing while we chug a can of Berry Blast's uh, Black Rifle coffee. I don't know.
I mean, that does sound fun,
It does
objectively.
actually. You know what? Fair call. I'm not going to knock it till I've tried it. I did go to the SIG shoot a couple years ago, which thankfully I still have all fingers, toes, and my penis intact. Um,
So what you're saying is you were an official tester for SIG because you shot
yes,
one and it functioned at that time.
very much
Most
so. I
in the
was a
world.
beta tester and I came out on the right side of that, thankfully.
If you don't get killed by Mossad, you're going to get killed by SIG's people, which is
I mean,
actually probably.
who's the CEO is a Cohen. It might actually still be Mossad.
I was going to say, yeah, it's the same people.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
straight up.
okay.
But if I could describe that range J in one word, it would be overgassed.
Yes, absolutely. I've shot one of their piston ARs, and it feels like shooting a DI, which tells you what you need to know.
Yeah,
Um, I've shot tens of thousands of rounds of LWRC, and now I have a Patriot Ordnance, a POF upper, and it shoots, as flat and as nice as that LWRC to me anyway.
yeah,
I was always shooting the 10.5, and those two were like zero gas. And as a left-handed guy,
yeah,
gas is hitting me in the face if it exists.
yeah,
That even the SIG piston guns are over gas, which is crazy.
yeah.
But
No, it is kind of wild. I tried their like very kind of them again. I went into the law enforcement section because I am legally a police officer. I am an officer of science and also medicine. Um, I have no idea how the hell that I even finagled that, but like getting to try all their stuff, I was just getting gassed the fuck out. My lead levels went up by several points that day, but
oh man, yeah, you got to
Officer
be
Nathan.
careful with that. You'll be okay, I promise. You don't need functioning internal organs or brain to be able to do that. You're good.
No, dude, my brain got a little bit smoother that day, and that's nice. Thoughts just kind of slide off, slick.
I went to the SIG shoot, and all I got was one less brain wrinkle. That's actually
My sperm count went down like 3. Um,
okay. You need to draw. This is it's time. Illustration, Nathan, right here. You've got to draw a smooth brain, and it's got a SIG P320 that's gone off and shot through the brain, and it says like most tested pistol of all time, something like that.
sell that as a slap. Just give that away at Shot
Oh yeah,
Show. Um,
absolutely.
oh gosh. Before we wrap this up, because we're coming up on 2 hours, and I realize you're 3 hours ahead of me. You
Yeah,
have
it's
to go
about
the fuck to
8:30.
bed, so I'm going to be the nice feller, let you get back to
Be the adult.
your wife. But we talked last time very briefly when you last time you were in my neck of the woods about pyramids. I just want to I forget everything other than I was so fucking invested. I was so invested, but I don't remember what you said.
Talking about
Yeah,
pyramids.
you brought up something to do with the pyramids, and maybe the Bermuda Triangle, but I might just be schizophrenic.
I think the pyramids thing we were talking about, like how could they have actually been assembled?
Yeah.
Like, and there's always these theories about it or whatever.
Yes.
And I think the thing that blew your mind was that Cleopatra was closer to the space shuttle launch, like on a timeline, than she was to the pyramids being built.
Really? Yes.
Yeah.
I remember
She,
this.
yeah. So like the tech they would have had back then is something that we really don't understand. And the one of the theories, and it has to do with, if you go back and look at like Tesla's writings and vibrational theory and stuff, one of the theories is that they used some sort of harmonic or vibrational repulsor lift to be able to move things, because there's stones in the pyramid at Giza that we don't have a single modern crane that can pick it up. It's like 40 tons,
Holy shit.
and we don't have anything that can cantilever that and counterbalance it. Like the crane would be so fucking heavy and have to have so much tensile strength at the height you have to get to place the stone that it doesn't exist. We've never built anything that even comes close to it. So the whole like, oh, they floated the stone on water to get there. You know how much buoyancy you'd have to put that block of stone
Yeah.
in a channel and have it float? Um, the whole harmonic frequency thing also goes back to places like Machu Picchu, where they have stones that are, again, that size, and they are stone welded together, which we still don't even have the tech to use lasers or whatever to melt the edge of stone to where it fuses at a molecular level. So something back then when that kind of stuff was being built was way more advanced than what we have, and a lot of the theories are it was old Earth tech, maybe like Atlantis or something like that. It was pre-flood, which is what I would say. When I say old Earth, from a Christian perspective, I mean like whether you believe the Earth is 6,000 years old or 5 billion, like I don't give a fuck. But we do know there was a cataclysmic event, a flood that flooded every known civilization. Has a flood story, and it has this prolific hero who comes out of nowhere
Yeah.
and saves the day and shares medicine and technology. And you know what all those cultures have? Fucking pyramids. So there's something going on there where there's some sort of old Earth technological sharing that happened, and I think it was some sort of technology that had to do with vibration or harmonics, where you can move things, understanding how they interact between solid state as mass and energy.
Yeah.
Tesla was on the edge of that, which is why they killed him, in my opinion.
I'm inclined to believe that also. There's
Hmm.
a lot of stuff around Tesla that we're going to get in when we do Orion Training Group episode 5. Um, so I enjoy these a lot. It's been a hot minute since I've had you on, buddy. I'm
you
glad
know,
I could harass you into coming back. Um,
oh, dude, it was great. And this was the easiest one to schedule too,
yeah,
because there's been times where we've bounced back and forth for 2 months
yeah,
trying to figure out when. And this was like, hey, how's Thursday?
yeah.
Done.
Hell yeah. And it worked. Maybe sometime we can bully W into coming on, but I'm happy either way.
Agreed.
He's just
He
so
texted
fucking
me back.
interesting.
He is. I mean, he's a wonderful human being. He actually texted me back like an hour ago and was like, I would love to hop on in a future date.
Yeah, I
So
turns out he only lives a couple hours away from me, so I might sometime just figure out a day to go hang out with the guy.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah, go shoot with him or something.
for yeah, just go shoot. I realize it's kind of hard where he is, which I will not dox, but I send him some links to some of my favorite spots. Um,
Good,
yeah,
good. Well, then he's going to be getting back more into training. We talked about exposure because he's going to be teaching more for us,
yeah,
so he is willing to put himself out there a little more. And I think the faceless entity on a podcast is a good starting point for someone that doesn't ever like he doesn't use social media.
yeah. He's I think his attitudes and everything lend a lot of credence to who he is, and just like talking to him, it's
Agreed.
like this is a man who knows his shit. I just want to like pick his brain sometime and talk about some of what he does, what we can talk about, because like anyways, not to plug you and him both, when are you back up here next, and like give us some of your training schedule for some of the East Coast boys too, if
Okay, so looking at this year, we're sold out, but we will be back up there in October. But the class has been full for 8 months. That'll be our force on force,
yeah,
and that's the last thing I'm going to do in Washington in 2025. Um, on the East Coast, we're currently right now while this is being recorded, we have our quarter 3 batched classes which are happening.
yeah,
We have quarter 4 batched classes on the East Coast with Blake and Dylan, and a few other instructors up there, and that's going to be. Let me look at the exact days right here. I have my master schedule pulled up here. Um, 22 through 26th of October on the East Coast at Ben Franklin Range in Pennsylvania. So if you go to the website, you type in Q4, quarter four, Ben Franklin Range, Pennsylvania, any of those keywords, you can search Blake, it'll come up. And that's really the only other thing we have on the East Coast for now. I mean, everything else is private contract or sold out or whatever. This year's been really good to us. We've sold out a lot of stuff in advance.
Yeah.
For next year, coming back to Washington, I will be there 3 times, and I'll be teaching with W at the same time, and then W will be teaching by himself 3 times.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be every other month. So January, March, May, July, September, and November.
Yes.
So we'll have 6 courses there next year. Let's hopefully fill all 6 of those and keep crushing it.
I agree. Anyways,
But
there's something else I would like to do. I'd like to start doing this more. BR, you're going to hear this, and hopefully you'll integrate this a little bit too if you want. Give us some book recommendations. Like what are some things that
oh
people should
man.
read?
Okay, so we'll do easy one that we've talked about a lot. It's maybe 80 pages. If you want to do an audiobook, it's an hour and a half. It's the Book of Five Rings. That is from Miyamoto Musashi. He was a samurai that lived in the 1600s. There's some Eastern philosophy in there that may or may not be for you, depending on your belief system or just how much you care about spiritual sort of stuff. But most of it is about practical application of intensity and training and how to build a training program and what your mindset should be on that. So that's a really good one. Going up like a more intermediate level, there is Leadership and Training for the Fight by Paul Howe. He is one of the Delta dudes from the Gothic Serpent operation, which made him, Black Hawk Down, made him all famous.
Yeah.
Um, he owns a training company. He's still kicking. Fantastic dude. But Leadership and Training for the Fight is 400 or 500 pages now in like the 4th edition or whatever. I have the 1st edition from back in the Gap that a mentor gave me, but it's essentially a case study of the Gothic Serpent operation and other things, and things that went good and things that went bad, and what you can learn about how to be a better leader and how to plan and how to train. So I think that's a phenomenal book that applies not only to martial aspects but outside of it.
Yeah.
And then like the big boy book, the tough one in my opinion, and one of my favorite books of all time is The Seven Pillars of Wisdom. That is by T.E. Lawrence, more commonly known as Lawrence of Arabia. It's about 800 pages, very dense, and it is essentially an introduction into why our world exists the way it does today. It is about the British government and the French government's meddling in the Middle East in order to defeat the Ottoman Empire, and it all hinged on this one Oxford graduate who was in his early 20s, and his uncanny ability to manipulate the Arabic people into fighting their oppressors. And then, of course, ultimately they were betrayed, and it sets up a stage for all the modern wars and conflicts that exist today, including the state of Israel existing again after 2,000 years. So it's a very, very interesting read. It sets up sort of the prelude to how modern guerrilla warfare is conducted in the desert. He kind of quite literally wrote the book on it, and it was a very, very passionate, very conflicted dude. Really interesting history. And as a side note, if you want to read a really good biography of T.E. Lawrence, again, Lawrence of Arabia, that is called A Touch of Genius, and it's written by a historian that evaluates all the positive and negative aspects of his life. It's not glazing him, but it's also not shitting on him either.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's the 3, and then the addendum at the end would be if you want to learn more about the man who's writing the book Seven Pillars of Wisdom from a third party perspective, Touch of Genius.
Yes. That is a good list. I
Yes,
did not
I
bring this question up to you beforehand, so I'd like everyone to know that was just right off the cuff. That was like
yeah.
very, very good.
That,
From
I
my end,
actually get asked that question a lot,
yeah.
man. People on Instagram and stuff ask it a lot. So
Well,
there's
right.
probably 10 other ones, but it also helps them looking at my bookshelf.
Yeah, that does help. Which,
It's right there.
looking at my bookshelf, I would like to recommend Savage Wars by Jason Enspack and Nick Cole. I just like it. I just like it. It's a good space fiction that's built around,
Mm.
I'm a fiction boy. I think it's really important to read the books that you put and biopics and everything else. But but yeah, it's just a good book. I just liked it. I like
Hey,
space.
there's nothing wrong with reading fiction,
Yeah,
dude. I've probably
it's
read 400 Star Wars books.
yes, no,
Uh,
and it's
I
like a
read
good ass
Tolkien
military
every year.
procedural that also takes place in the future, and a little bit of
That's
that
awesome.
like finding something unknowable and horrific in the dark recesses of space, which I fucking love those plots so much.
So I had a lucid dream 2 years ago about these
Was there a
planets.
deer that walked in its hind legs with human teeth?
No, no, thank God. But this one had to do with basically a lost race of aliens that had imbued power on this other planet, and those people were basically like worshiping them, but aliens had never come back, so it was a question of was it ever real, kind of paralleling modern religion.
Yeah.
And it turns into like a space race to get to the other planet where they're supposed to be from, and it's this whole thing. And of course, they get there and they find the deep dark secret. And the dream in my head when I was sleeping was like 300 years long. So I woke up at like 2 a.m. in a sweat and pulled out my drawing pad and did like a story bubble and wrote down all the details I could remember and then went back to sleep. And I've tried to start writing it, but it's going to be like 1,000 pages if I fully commit to
Man,
this
this
thing.
it might be the next Dune. It might.
It's kind of Dune-esque, man. It centers around the middle child who is not destined for the throne and has a sense of adventure and all that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of a love story to it. There's also the religion, there's the technology, there's the interplanetary travel, and like you said, the deep dark secret waiting in the cold recesses of space.
Yeah.
So I think it would do good if I gave it the
I
time.
love that. I think you should. I genuinely think you should.
It's kind of cool that it came from a dream too.
Yeah. A 350-year dream. You are, you know, 380 something years older than the rest of us probably.
We looked at the 2D lamp and he woke up.
Yeah. God, I've had.
It's like it was like that.
Say again.
It was like that. I woke up and was like, "What? Where the fuck am
Yeah.
I?" Oh,
Holy shit! Like, look at your hands. They're not all.
yep.
That is kind of amazing. I like dreams like that a lot. Anyways, any last dad advice to give our young listeners here, including sunning your balls and ass also.
Okay, yeah. So perineal sunning's always good. Just
Yes.
make sure you do it where you're not going to catch a charge.
Yes. Don't
I mean, it's
don't
going to
burn
charge your
too.
asshole,
Like,
but
yeah.
don't burn. It needs to be for 5 minutes or less, especially if you're not conditioned to it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than like a burned
Yeah.
shaft. You know what I'm saying?
I've already got
Uh,
2 bad sunburns this summer, and I don't want another one where the sun doesn't shine
okay, I thought you meant two bad sunburns like on
on
your
my dick.
dick, and I was
No,
like,
not
dang,
not
dude,
yet.
like
I've
let
not
me.
done any perennial sunning. This
Okay,
year, I'm
cool.
afraid.
If you're not familiar with that, for everyone listening, it's supposed to boost your test and help with vitamin D absorption. I don't know if that's true. I tried it one time. It felt kind of cool, and then I was like, my whole ass is out in my backyard. So,
Just
it,
like Maisie, your elderly neighbor from across the way, just staring, like
right.
mouth agape.
I don't even have a fence, bro. I was just like, let go, let God.
Yeah,
Um, but no, as far as dad advice goes, I think that a lot of what this industry and the people listening need is a reminder about what um, masculinity is. And I think that people are always trying to project toughness and a false sense of bravado and trying to measure against other people. But the way you treat people, specifically women, children, and animals,
yeah,
the way that you interact with your fellow man, it, it does not hinge on the perception of the ability to commit violence or you're better than everyone else around you or any of those things. I think that if people take a little bit of time to self reflect and try to evaluate who they are inside in the core a little bit more, and we become a little bit more aware of our emotions and how we interact with people, this space would be a lot better. So my dad advice would be take a little time, especially if you're a man, be a little more introspective and understand what your role is in the relationships that you have
yeah.
and try to function in a way that actually benefits those people instead of constantly putting yourself first and trying to project what you want out of something. Look at what you can do for other people. And I think that if we got more of that, we would be a little bit of a better place.
I agree. That I couldn't put it better myself. Anyways, yeah, thank you, Jared. I appreciate you coming on. Forward to
Absolutely.
the inevitable episode 5, unless the world goes to absolute shit in the meantime, and
We can only hope.
yeah, record with you from the camps or something.
It just means we're one step closer to Jesus coming back, bro. So if it happens, I'm ready. Take me out of this shit box. I'm done.
Hell yeah, brother.
Thanks again for having me on, dude.
Thank you again. Anyways, for all y'all listening, okay, bye.